Alright, I think we should be up and running. Hello. Let's see if that works. Shows up there, shows up there. Let's see if it shows up there in a little bit. Come. Ah, it does. Perfect. Okay, so stream overlays. Back to running normal. That's good. Romero, how's it going? Sorry for making you skip class, bud. DSV, how's it going? Sorry, let's get music up and rolling out here. Let's go. Very good. Milosh, how's it going? Justin, Nightwalker. How you guys doing this fine morning or afternoon? Long time no see. 163? That's light, yes. Very signs. Alright. Alright, we're just gonna quickly do Wordle and connections as is procedure, and then we'll get... Good, I was witnessing the great spoiler debate in your Discord. There's a... what now? Is there... sorry, what was happening? I just saw a shit ton of memes that I kind of scrolled past it. What happened? Definition of spoiler is important? Bro, amnesia man. Bro, you're getting philosophical over here. Dr. Z, thanks for popping by. How you doing? How's your day at work? Kami said to read the last part of 162 and then play a song, then read 163. No problem. In the spoiler channel, there was a debate for spoilers. Oh, I see. Interesting. I don't go there. I have that channel blocked because I don't get notifications from it because I'm a child, and if I see those notifications, I will open it. So I don't even I don't even think about it. Okay, let's see what. Okay, let's get this up and running here. Okay. Very important to music in general for next chapters, then restart at the last line of 162. Okay, no problem. Can you send the music in the Discord, Kami? That'd be great. Nagato, thanks for popping by. Queen, good morning. How you guys doing? It was hardest day of the year, really? Okay, I don't like that foreshadowing, Dr. Z. What was bad about your day at work? Everything okay? Okay, so start with that one. Dope. Let me get this bit started. All right, so keep this, sorry, the first song you said, Kami, keep that running for 163, basically? Okay, sent them in general, start walls closing in now, and the second one later. I see. Okay, dope. Sounds good. Just too much work. I see. Okay, so I'm just going to do Hollow Knight for 2 minutes while I just finish Wordle, or fuck up Wordle really quickly, and then we will, get that shit rolling. Make an iced coffee, Nagito? I have my iced coffee right here. Cheers. Okay, let's do this. Oh, that's cool. That's not bad. No. The first word. That's always been my first word, DSV. I saw Ludwig do this like a year ago when I popped by for a stream. And ever since then, it's always been my first word. I just, like, nothing else. It's a great word that has a lot of, okay, maybe not a great word, but it has a lot of common letters, has 2 syllables, has common consonants. Like, it's very good. Did I say syllables? Sorry, I meant vowels. Holy shit, it's really early. It has 2 vowels, 3 common consonants. Like, it's a really good word. And it's just funny, so. Okay, so XXEAT. Like, my immediate instinct would be this. No. Oh, for fuck's sakes. So. Okay, let's go. Okay, there we go. That was good. That wasn't. No, I can live with that. Dope. All right. I'll just gonna quickly fuck up connections and then we'll get started reading. Oh, actually, let me start one back because I was told to start at the end of 162. Okay, dope. Aren't there? Okay. Dog. Hound. Orb. Sphere. Globe. Ball. Spherical objects. Dope. Okay. Or round three-dimensional objects. Okay, no problem. Trot. Hound. Dog. Okay, glove. Sock. Weren't you only saved from a trial because you betrayed others? Wait, what is happening? Wait, you guys have like a snitch system where like someone can do a bad thing and then tell on someone else and then be okay? What is happening? Arodas, thanks for popping by. How you doing? What? Okay, I'm just gonna fuck this up because I don't know what this is and I'm not gonna figure it out. There's just no point. Yeah, I don't fucking know, dude. Glove, sock. I don't know. Dude, these are such dog shit. What the fuck? What is this? Animals in the witch. Huh? I'm supposed to know this? Okay, fox. Okay, this one I may have gotten. Punch. Ah, cute. Okay. I was binging it earlier, Rods. Oh, thanks, Yark. Yeah, I got. It's been a little while that I've had. What do you call it? The webcam. But yeah, for the first time, I want to say like 5 or 6 streams. I didn't. Yeah, but yeah, thanks for popping by. I appreciate you being here. All right, let's do this. No, wait. Start at 162. Wait, I was at 160. Did I not go back? Am I losing my fucking mind? Okay. Klein nodded slightly. Let's visit him at noon. Nope. All right, I gotta change the music first. I don't know why wall's closing in for this, but fuck it. You guys are all here, so you clearly know something I don't. So let's find out, shall we? Okay. Let's visit him at noon. Old Neil sure is pitiful. His wife passed away earlier, and his son is busy in some other city. When he's sick, all he can do is stay at home in loneliness and helplessness. That was the first thing he recalled from his visit to Old Neil's house. Listening to Klein's sigh, Roseanne opened her eyes and asked, "When did Old Neil get married?" Interesting. Yeah, definitely, Romero. Study after this. Okay. Okay. Song's too low. You sounded so magnanimous. Thank you, Dr. Z. Okay, sorry, give me a second. Let me, alright, let me up the music a little bit. Alright, I think any louder and it'll overshadow my voice. Let me know if that sounds okay. What? Klein was left dumbfounded when he heard Roseanne's question. He recalled in a daze. I previously visited Old Neil's place just last month. I saw a piano in the living room, and he told me that his deceased wife loved music. As he spoke, Klein suddenly became alarmed as he began having unpleasant thoughts. What's so scary? I don't understand. Maybe she just didn't know. Roseanne knitted her beautiful brows and said with uncertainty, "Perhaps I remembered wrong." "No. Mrs. Oriana and I frequented Old Neil's place during the earlier half of the year. There was no piano in the living room back then. I clearly remember asking him why he chose to remain single. His answer was that he hadn't met a lady that he wished to marry." Okay. That's weird. There was no piano during the earlier half of the year, and he answered the question why he chose to remain single. Klein tightened up and asked in a deep voice, "Roseanne, how long has it been since you visited Old Neil's place?" Username, thanks for popping by. How you doing? Not ever since Kenley became a Nighthawk and Viola chose to resign as a clerk. I've either been burning the midnight oil or catching up on sleep, so how could I have time to visit him? It's been since the beginning of June. Roseanne became a little lost upon receiving the question, so all she did was answer honestly. What is happening? Klein's heart sank, as if he sensed something wrong. He fished out a half-pence from his pocket and held it between his thumb and middle finger. He took a deep breath and quickly divined out a divination statement. There's something wrong with Old Neil's current situation. His pupils darkened as he recited this statement silently and entered cogitation. He flicked his thumb, pushed the brass coin into the air, and allowed it to spin. The coin fell right into Klein's open palm. This time, the portrait of George III was facing up. That means that's true, which means there's something wrong. Interesting. Okay. The portrait signified that it was correct, that it was positive. That meant there really was something wrong with Old Neil's situation. As Klein clenched the coin, he suddenly remembered the translucent pair of cold, ruthless eyes without any brows that he had seen behind Old Neil when he became a Beyonder and was experimenting with his spirit vision. Oh, the very first time. Old Neil had explained that the pair of eyes was a characteristic of ritualistic magic. That's right. I also saw an almost formless human figure by the door at the periphery of the light. The color of its aura was identical to the surrounding darkness. Also, after I digested the seer potion, I secretly changed the way I activated my spirit vision to the tapping of my left molar. I happened to look at Old Neil and he suddenly coughed violently. Scene after scene appeared in Klein's mind, turning his expression grim. Did Old Neil lose control? No. Stop. There's no shot. No. No way. Even though he's petty and stingy and wants to be reimbursed for all his expenses, he's a good person. He rarely gets angry. No way he would lose control. I can't be sure, but I think that Old Neil is on the brink of losing control. Klein consoled Roseanne. He quickly made his way past the partition and opened the door to the captain's office. Dunn was startled by the sudden intrusion, nearly choking on his coffee. What happened? He didn't blame Klein. His expression instantly became stern. What happened? He didn't blame... nope. Klein answered simply, "Captain, my divination tells me there's something wrong with Old Neil. Last month, Old Neil told me that his late wife loved music, but today, Roseanne told me that he remained single all this time. Also, on the day that I became a Beyonder, I saw a pair of mysterious eyes looking over everything behind Old Neil. There was also an almost transparent human figure near the door spying on us. He told me that those were characteristics of ritualistic magic. I felt that something was off and thus attempted a divination. After Dunn finished listening intently, he stood up immediately, walked over to the coat rack, and asked in puzzlement, "Why didn't you divine directly if Old Neil had lost control?" Over the past month, Old Neil hasn't acted any differently from ordinary Beyonders. He even worked with me to help Swain deal with the mandated Punisher who lost control. I've also observed the colors of his aura from time to time, noticed that he's relatively healthy other than his frailty due to his age. Thus, I think that he's only close to losing control and can still be saved. Klein explained his point of view. Dunn put on his black hat and windbreaker before nodding, a reasonable deduction. Let's go pay a visit to Old Neil now. And, try not to agitate him if possible. After that, we can attempt to control him and use ritualistic magic to stabilize his condition to prevent him from getting worse. Control. Klein had an idea when he heard this item. Captain, can we use 3611? Holy shit. Dude, there's no shot. Come on. Neil's gonna be fine. Holy shit, that was actually scary. What the fuck? He had been thinking about how he could resolve Old Neil's problem and save him, but he hadn't arrived at an answer as he had become too flustered, too uneasy, too worried. He was reminded by Dunn's words and recalled that the sealed artifact might be useful. Number 611, Peaceful Hair Strands. Considerably dangerous. Has to be used carefully. Can only be applied for operations that require 3 or more people. Classification, official Nighthawk member or above. Sealing method. No direct contacts with living organisms. A simple decoration formed with many strands of black hair. As long as contact is made with a living being without any protection, the living being would lose all their desires and emotions, including but not limited to hunger, anger, grief, pain, envy, jealousy, hate, joy, satisfaction, greed, etc. It has been ascertained that living beings under 611's influence will even lose their desire to break contact with it. They will stay silently in their spot until the end of life. Holy shit. If an external force is used to break contact with the person in 611, then the person will gradually recover. The data suggests that the prerequisite to this is that the person has not been in contact for more than 2 hours. Once the contact lasts more than 2 hours, the victim would become silent for eternity. The highest sequence tested is sequence 5. You can avoid contact by means such as wearing gloves. The strands of hair aren't equipped with the capability to live. It doesn't have any inclination of escaping the seal. Appendix. These strands of hair appeared during a failed advancement. It was something left behind when a captain of the Nighthawks failed to advance to sequence 6. Dunn nodded after he heard Klein. Great suggestion. I nearly forgot about 3611. Find Royale in the recreation room. Sounds good, Kami. I'll retrieve the artifact from Shanice Gate and submit the application when we come back. That's the way. There's no time to waste. Klein didn't dawdle. He immediately went to the recreation room and shouted for Royale. What's the mission? Pay Old Neil a visit. Pay Old Neil a visit? Royale opened her eyes as she had an ominous feeling. It's not confirmed yet. Klein shook his head. Royale didn't speak further. They slipped into silence, turning the mood heavy. A few minutes passed, and Dunn finally arrived at the basement. He was wearing black gloves and a tangled mess of black hair in his hand. Compared to the mutated Sun Sacred Emblem, the peaceful hair strands didn't look particularly weird. It would be glossed over if it were tossed on the road somewhere. After calling for the chauffeur Cesare, the 4 of them made their way to Old Neil's house. The wheels of the carriage rolled across the asphalt that was wet from the rain. The carriage interior was more silent than the night. It was unknown how much time had passed until Dunn sighed. Old Neil did have a partner that he was about to be engaged with when he was younger, but she suddenly became terminally ill. Old Neil risked divulging the secrets of the Beyonder and used ritualistic magic to try and save her. But he didn't succeed. Old Neil back then was just a beginner in mysticism. According to the records, the Nighthawks back then were all on alert, afraid that Old Neil would lose control because of this, but luckily, he managed to find his sanity and remain normal. Let's hope this too is a false alarm. Klein couldn't help but draw a crimson moon before his chest, before saying, "May the goddess watch over him." Dunn and Royale followed suit. "May the goddess watch over him." The sky turned brighter as the dark clouds receded. The Nighthawks arrived in front of Old Neil's bungalow. After getting Cesare to drive the carriage far away, Dunn collected himself and walked towards the main door, cane in one hand and 3611 in the other. Klein pressed down on his hat as he and Royale followed behind the captain. They made their way past the rose and gold mint garden. When they reached the gate, Klein took a step forward and pulled on the rope connected to the bell of the building. A pleasant chime resounded in the house as it broke the silence. Klein pulled several times, then politely took a step back without making any further attempts. The three Nighthawks waited patiently for a few minutes, but didn't hear any footsteps approaching the door. Perhaps old Neil went to the doctor and isn't home. He finished his sentence when a melody came from the building. It was the music from a piano. It was like a silent lake, veiled by a thin mist behind the moonlight. Dunn's expression became abnormally stern and grave. Klein's heart sank as well. He was just about to do another divination. He suddenly saw the liquid flowing out from the gap beneath the door. The stream of liquid was transparent and pure at first, before it became dyed crimson. A crimson similar to that of blood. It was an intensely dark crimson red. Stop. No. Neil's fine. No, stop. Oh, no. You can't do this to me. No. Dude. Stop. No. Come on. Oh, God. Okay. The color of fresh blood was reflected in Klein's eyes as they intently locked onto the flowing liquid. Just then, there was a light cough from within the house. Old Neil spoke with a raspy voice. Dunn, why are you here? Oh, please tell me he's okay. Dunn's gray eyes were extremely deep. His mellow voice replied calmly, I heard that you're sick, so we came to visit. There was a sudden silence in the house. A few minutes later, old Neil roared in anger. No, you're lying. Without waiting for Klein and company to say a word, his tone became weak. Yes, I know my condition isn't quite right. Old Neil. Klein closed his eyes, but the bloody liquid that was seeping through the gap of the door didn't cease. Then old Neil raised his voice and said, Stop. All this time, I've never hurt anyone, nor have I thought of hurting anyone. I never betrayed the secrets of the Nighthawks, not even one. At the most, I've made claims for undeserving expenses. I didn't commit any evil. Klein, he suddenly shouted like he usually did. I told you about the maxim of the mystery prior. Do as you wish, but do no harm. I still live by this saying. I'd rather be patient. I'd rather endure than do things that'll harm others. Kami, it's looped, man. Yeah, it's good. It's looped, guys. Sorry. Can you guys not hear it? Hold on. With that said, he pleaded sincerely. Done. Royale, Klein, go back. Go back. Wait till tomorrow. By tomorrow, I'll be back to normal. I swear. I swear to the goddess. I wouldn't harm anyone. Really. Dunn closed his eyes and asked extremely gently, What do you plan on doing? What have you been trying to do all this time? He's trying to bring her back. Me? Old Neil was confused at first, but he described with a tone filled with hope. I'm trying to resurrect Celeste, Dunn. I found a way. I'm on the right track. Oh, that's so sad. Fuck. I should have realized when they said she passed away. Fuck. You should have heard about it. Back then, I made a mistake during the magic to treat her, so I failed. I failed to save her. I know it was because I had yet to master mysticism, but now I have enough knowledge and experience to complete everything. It's regrettable that I wasn't inspired by the maxim of the priors and dailies example. I missed the opportunity. If I was a high sequence beyonder, all of this would have been so easy. No, I can't give up again. Done. Go back. Go back, please. I beg of you. How do you plan on resurrecting Celeste? Klein asked. Old Neil instantly became excited. I'll use the alchemical life method to create an immortal body for her. Done. You might not know of it, but Sequence 4 Beyonders from the Church of the Mother Earth are good at this. The corresponding sequence in the Savant pathway can barely do it as well. Yes, I'll complete it with the aid of God's favor. Then I'll summon her spirit from the spirit world and pray for God to combine her spirit and body together. Isn't it a great idea? Yes, it's a great idea, Neil. Let us come in. Maybe we can help you. Done. Are you still not willing to let me off the hook? Go back. Just go back. I'll return to normal tomorrow, Done. I swear. I'll never steal your coffee beans again. Klein, Royale, I swear, I won't make you help me with my undeserved claims. Oh, God. That's so sad. Fuck, dude. In Klein and Royale's blurry vision, Dunn lowered his head before lifting it again. Neil, you're misunderstanding. We're here to visit you. You're our teammate. You're sick and you aren't well. We needed to visit you. Open the door. Let us see you, so that we can be certain. If you're okay, we'll return immediately. As you know, there are many missions recently. We have to monitor the asylum and take care of other incidents. There's nothing serious about my condition, really. I'll recover by tomorrow, Old Neil said. The bloody water that flowed through the gap of the door went down the stairs towards the stone pathway onto the garden soil. Old Neil, we've known each other for about 15 years, right? We worked on so many missions together. I'm really worried about you. I have to see you with my own eyes before I'll be at ease. Alright, Old Neil pouted. There's really nothing wrong with me. With a creak, the door opened slowly. Klein wiped away his eyes and allowed his sight to return to normal. With a creak, the door opened slowly. Klein's eyes Then he saw the carpet in the lobby was red and sticky, covered in blood and hair. He looked forward and up, only to realize that the living room floor, ceiling, the round table and piano were all covered in the same disgusting, sticky, hairy liquid. Old Neil hung his head in the air, connected to the ceiling by a thick liquid. His forehead and cheeks each had a pair of eyes. They were cold and ruthless eyes with no eyebrows. Fuck. I thought there was a chance he'd be okay still. He's gone, isn't he? Fuck. That's not even him, really. Like, not in the way it matters. The piano keys were dancing on their own, playing a melodious tune. Done. Look. I'm really okay, Dunn said with a radiant smile. Royale, Klein. You think so too, right? Fuck, dude, this is so hard to read. Fucking Christ. The moment he opened his mouth, Klein saw the same thick, hairy, bloody liquid flowing inside it. Dunn's grey eyes shimmered as they chatted like everything was normal. Neil, where did you learn the alchemical life and resurrection ritual from? I heard it. I tried the first part and confirmed its authenticity. It's a gift from God. He kept describing it in my ears. He was hearing like a devil or like a demon or like a fucking mysterious spirit, but Because he wanted so hard to believe it was God trying to help him get Celeste back. He thought it was... Oh, fuck. That's so... Fuck, that's so sad, dude. It's not... Yeah, no, Dr. Z, I did catch that. He keeps saying God because he probably hears a man's voice. That's probably why he's saying God. But it's not God. It's like a devil or a demon or one of those mysterious whatever the fucks. Ah, shit. Old Neil's voice came to a halt. More than 10 seconds later, he continued in fear and loss. He is the hidden sage. The hidden sage? Isn't that the non-anthropomorphic god that the Mosaic ascetic order believes in? The god that was resurrected, bringing about evil and corruption? The Moses ascetic order has the complete mystery prior sequence. Klein's heart stirred as many thoughts came to him. Could be an evil god, yeah. Upon mentioning the hidden sage, old Neil seemed to finally awaken. He looked around vacantly and observed. In the indescribable silence, his six eyes looked toward... His six eyes. Six eyes, isn't that like a thing? Like a... Hold on. No, sorry. Am I losing it, or was it not like the... Like, didn't it say that Buddha had like six eyes or something? Am I fucking making this up? Doesn't matter right now, but fuck. Yeah, no, obviously I get the Gojo but thing, but I thought it was something else, because I feel like whatever, it doesn't matter right now. In an indescribable silence, his six eyes looked towards Dunn, and he said with a bitter smile, "So it turns out I've already become a monster." Without waiting for Dunn and the others to reply, Neil revealed a smile, one of groveling fear and cowardice. "Let me go. I'll go deep into the mountains and won't appear again. I'll never hurt anyone. I'll only attempt my ritual quietly. Really, let me go. I beg of you." They can't let him go, but how do you kill someone that you worked with for so long? How do you kill someone who's like a friend who... Really, can you blame him for what he's doing? I don't think so. Like, you can say maybe he should have known better, but is that worth death? Man, fuck. Just then, Klein felt something illusory shatter before his eyes. Then old Neil's 4 cold, lashless eyes turned to a dark glow and locked onto Dunn. His expression turned cold. "You're pulling me into a dream." "No, it's useless. My eyes can see through it all." The sticky blood that covered the ceiling, floor, and walls began swarming, like a giant opening its mouth to swallow Klein and company. Old Neil's head grew blurry, like overlapping after images. Klein didn't fumble for his revolver. Instead, he extended his hand to his pocket and planned on using the slumber charm. Suddenly, everything calmed down before him. The sticky, bloody liquid suddenly turned placid like a still lake. Old Neil lost his coldness, hatred, desire, and all other expressions. He became quiet and peaceful. It was unknown that Dunn threw 3611 into the blood. The lashless eyes on old Neil's forehead and cheeks slowly closed, seemingly having lost the desire to keep them open. Any living creature that came into contact with 611 would turn peaceful and lose all motivation till the end of their life. Dunn and Klein and Royale drew their guns at the same time and aimed at old Neil. Old Neil revealed a look of extreme fear. He was struggling. His strong desire to live fought against the effects of 611. The 4 eyes disappeared. The wrinkles at the corners of his eyes were still deep. His hair was still white. His crimson eyes were still turbid, just like when Klein had met him for the first time. Dunn, do you remember the time I saved you? Royale, do you remember the time I helped you redeem your family's life? Klein, do you remember how I taught you mysticism every day? How we talked how to make claims? How I made you coffee? Do you remember when we fought against the Punisher's rampage? The illusory pleading echoed in Klein's ears, and his right hand that was holding the revolver trembled. He found it difficult to pull the trigger. The 2 silver hunting bullets flew out and penetrated old Neil's head, one after another. Klein watched as the familiar abnormal face revealed a hopeless expression. He saw the man's skull tear open, the red and white spurting in all directions. The sticky blood that coated the surroundings started shrinking as it flowed back into old Neil's head that had fallen to the ground. Dunn and Royale lowered their guns simultaneously, and all that was silent. Klein looked at everything before him. Old Neil's corpse was becoming a ball of rotten flesh. He saw that there was a pair of eyes, crimson and clear, yet incredibly pained amidst the blood and flesh. He felt like everything that had happened was just a dream and found it impossible to bring himself to believe the sequence of events and how it ended. He stood dumbfounded as he saw Dunn take 2 steps forward. His figure stopped. Dunn looked at old Neil's corpse and muttered heavily, "We are guardians, but also a bunch of miserable wretches that are constantly fighting against threats and madness." Holy shit, dude. Okay. Dude, I swear, when I quit yesterday's, when I quit at 162 yesterday, I thought Neil was just, like, sick or whatever. What the fuck? Oh, man. That was a heavy fucking chapter, dude. What the fuck? Do as you wish, but do no harm. He did follow it to the end. Yes, he did. What, you know what this, sorry. Even after losing control, he never hurt anyone. Yeah. And not even just that he didn't hurt anyone. He said, he's like, I won't. He's like, I just want to help. I just want to bring her back. But he didn't understand that in bringing her back, he actually caused her to die. Because as long as someone is there, someone who remembers you, someone who loved you, I think you live in the only way that really matters. But now that he's gone, she's gone too. Man. Dunn's words echoed throughout old Neil's house. They reverberated across the corroded floor, the walls, and the ceiling, as well as Klein's mind and soul. He had never had a stronger impression of that sentence than the one he had now. He felt that he wouldn't forget this feeling for as long as he lived, even if he were to return to Earth. Amidst the still atmosphere, Dunn walked towards old Neil's corpse and kneeled down. He took out a white handkerchief from the pocket of his windbreaker and covered it over the dark red crystalline eyeballs which looked pain. At this moment, Klein noticed that the keys of the piano had stopped moving. A faint, translucent figure appeared. This. Klein, who had activated his spirit vision before entering the house, froze. He hadn't noticed this strange soul until now. Thank you, Nagito. He hadn't noticed this strange soul until now. Was it because he was distracted by Neil, or was it because of old Neil's abilities after he lost control? Klein saw the formless figure evaporate quickly, vanishing before his eyes. He had a faint idea what was going on. Suppressing the heavy feeling in his heart, he heard the captain's orders. Search old Neil's house carefully for possible clues. All right. When Klein spoke, it took him a minute to recognize his own voice. It was raspy and deep, as if he had the flu. All right, Royale also replied. The condition of her voice was about the same as mine. It's like our nostrils are blocked. Klein looked at his female teammate, who didn't typically have much of an expression. It was as if he was knowing her for the first time. Placing his cane on the umbrella rack near the door, he made his way around 3611. He took heavy steps into the living room and up to the second floor. After this chapter? Okay, sounds good, Nagito. He searched every room possible for clues. Old Neil employed someone to clean the rooms regularly, so the rooms weren't messy, as one would expect of a bachelor. Everything was in order, as if there was a female presence in the house. Half an hour later, Klein found a few handwritten notes on the bookshelf in Old Neil's room. The notes recorded a weird, mysterious ritual. Alchemical life. 100 milliliters of spring water from the Spring of Elves. 50 grams of star crystal. Half a pound of pure gold. 5 grams of phlogiston? I don't know. 30 grams of red iron, and a large quantity of fresh blood from living people. Old Neil annotated beneath the part about fresh blood from the living. I can consider drawing my own blood, accumulating it little by little, and preserve it with magic. He loved her, dude. She died probably, I don't know, 10, 15, 25 years ago. He was always looking for money because he needed gold. Yes. Oh my god, that makes so much sense, Ramiro. He was trying to buy a fucking... Holy shit. On Thursday morning at 9, the time of the moon, Raphael Cemetery. Klein was wearing a black formal suit and holding onto his cane. He stood silently in the corner of a cemetery. He had stuffed a neat white handkerchief in his breast pocket and was holding onto a slumber flower. Dunn, Fry, Leonard, Kenley were carrying a black coffin that stored old Neil's corpse. Even when he needed blood, he used his own and didn't hurt anyone. Even at his age, he decided it was better for him to slowly draw his own blood than get it from anyone else. It's hard to It's hard to fault the man for anything he did, man. Even knowing that it was probably gonna, he knew. I'm sure he knew that it was likely gonna turn out this way. But even still, he was like, all the same, I'm still gonna try. If there's even a chance, I'll try all the same. They slowly walked to the front of the tombstone and silently lowered it into the grave. As she saw the brown soil being tossed into the grave, Roseanne, who was wearing her black dress and a white flower in her hair, wept. Can someone tell me if all of this is for real? Why did he lose control? Why did he consume the potion? Why did he become a beyonder? Why must there be wraiths and monsters? Was there no safer way? Can really say he was in the right mind? He was hearing things. Yeah, that's true, but that's the thing with losing. No one loses their. One loses their common sense. Oh, maybe. Yeah, maybe. I guess if he yeah, I guess that makes sense. Because if you're hearing the voices and you actually believe it's God talking to you, I mean, you can do some crazy shit, man, and just believe it's for the greater good. And fucking, one doesn't question God. So, yeah. Klein silently listened on until Neil's coffin was completely buried in soil. Until all signs that he existed were buried deep within the earth. May the goddess bless you. He drew a crimson moon in front of his chest and took a few steps forward and placed the slumber flower in front of the tomb. May the goddess bless you. Dunn, Fry, and the others tapped their chest in a clockwise fashion. Klein looked up, straightened his back, and saw the black and white photograph on the tombstone. Old Neil was wearing a classic black hat, and his white hair was peeking out around the edges. The wrinkles besides his eyes and mouth were deep. His dark red eyes were a little turbid. He was so peaceful, no longer feeling pain or grief or fear. There was an epitaph carved underneath the photograph. It came from the contents of the last entry of Neil's diary. If I cannot save her, then I shall accompany her. That is heavy as shit, Jesus. The morning breeze blew gently. The silence and the emptiness of Raphael Cemetery hung over everyone. In the afternoon, Klein took a form signed by the captain to the armory. He opened the half-closed door and saw Brett in a thick black beard behind the table. Klein froze visibly before handing the form over. 50 rounds of ordinary bullets. During his request, he glanced at the tin can on the table. He felt as though he could smell the fragrance of his hand-ground coffee and hear the cheeky words in his ears. But why must you wait till you have the spare cash? Apply to Dunn and get him to approve the expenses. Brett noticed Klein's expression and sighed. I can understand what you're feeling now. I, myself, can't believe that old Neil would leave us like that. Sometimes I feel as though this is a dream conjured by the captain. Perhaps this is the destiny of many Nighthawks. After this incident, he felt much more disappointed and hatred towards the upper echelon for keeping the acting method a secret. Let's hope there'll be fewer tragedies. May the goddess bless us. Brett drew a crimson moon in front of his chest, took out the application form, and walked to the armory. The smell of gunpowder filled the air. Klein vented his frustration onto the target he was shooting until he was finished shooting all the bullets he'd requested. He then collected himself, took the carriage to Wayne's house, He completed sets upon sets of exercise, as if he was torturing himself, until Gawain told him to stop. Combat practice isn't there for you to harm yourself. Gawain looked at Klein. I'm sorry, teacher. I'm just a little down today. What happened? A friend of mine passed away suddenly. Gawain was silent for a few seconds. He stroked his blond mustache and said with a fleeting voice, I once lost 325 friends in the span of 5 minutes. Among them were 10 I could trust my life with. That's the cruelty of war. Klein sighed. The cruelest thing of all is the fact that I can never exact revenge for them. I can never fulfill their dreams. And the answer still eludes me forever. As for you, you still have many chances. Even though I don't know what happened, I know you're still young. You still have many opportunities. Thank you, teacher. Gawain nodded and said without expression, Take a 10-minute break, then do 10 more sets of the exercises you were just doing. Klein was momentarily unsure what expression he should show. Friday morning, in the recreation room of the Nighthawks, Klein, Seekatron, and Fry seated around the round table, but they weren't playing cards. One was flipping through the newspaper, the other looking through the oriel window in a daze, and the last holding a pen, wanting to write something but failing to do so. The room was silent. No one spoke. No one joked. The atmosphere was heavy. Klein exhaled. He lowered his newspaper and planned to focus on reading the material he had found. At that moment, Dunn knocked on the door and entered the room before saying, Klein, come out for a moment. What happened? Klein, who had a premonition of what was happening, stood up and made his way out of the recreation room. Dunn stood at the entrance of the stairway leading to the basement. He turned and looked at Klein. The person from the cathedral is here. The person examining me is here? 166. So what do we think? Do you want me to look at the art channel right now or after this chapter? This is a longer chapter, I will say. Milos has spoken. Man, those were rough chapters. What the fuck, dude? Yeah. Chibi art is always very cute. I've always been a big fan. That's very cool. Dunn, Klein, Leonard, I presume. Hold on. Sorry. Sorry. That's so sad. God damn it. Even now, he's just there. He's just there. He's like, I'm fine. Just I'll be home tomorrow. Open the image in a new tab. Oh, maybe. Oh no, that fucks the quality into oblivion. What the fuck? Hold on. Oh, hold on. Give me a yeah, this is better. This'll do. Thanks, username. Just standing on the different side of the door, just saying like, no, I'm fine. Plus, you have to say, even after all that, after having God in his fucking ear telling him to just get rid of him, he still had the care of his friends and you know his in mind enough to say like when they said like no, like I'm just worried about you, he said fine, just like come in. I'm sure the fucking whatever the fucking god's name was, the great sage or hidden sage or whatever, was in his mind telling him to just like no, get rid of them, like we don't want them in here, because surely. But even then, he's still enough himself to say like, okay, they're worried about me, it'll be okay. Jesus. See, I'm fine. And then he opened his eyes and realized what the fuck is going on. Just came to be at peace. It was ultimately Klein that shot him, right? I think. Remembering everything he taught him. Good Lord. Oh, it wasn't Klein? Sorry, who was it? Was it Dunn that shot him? No, I was already hooked, man. That's just... I would have read the fucking novel even if fucking Old Neil lived, man. God damn it. You know what this, hold on. You know what this reminds me of? I'm not sure if any of you have played Dark Souls 3, but this was like one of the bosses in Dark Souls 3, the Dancer of the Boreal Valley. That's what that imagery like reminds me of. Like she's just there, and then eventually when shit hits the fan and you're fighting the Dancer, she becomes a fucking nightmarish monster. The Dancer, by the way, if you haven't played it, one of the fucking nightmarish bosses of Dark Souls 3. Not the hardest by a stretch, but fuck, it was nightmarish. There were 2 shots, one from Sika, one from Dunn. Klein couldn't do it. Okay. Thanks. Man. Look at this fucking thing. One does not look directly at God, huh? I don't know what this is, unfortunately. Oh, sorry. The Eyes of the Hidden Sage, I see. If I can't save her, then I shall accompany her. Dude. You guys were right. There's some phenomenal fan art here, man. What the fuck? What's the... You'll continue. Oh no, I'm good, Nagito. I don't have any of those. I'm good. I'm good to continue reading, man. This is what I imagine the fucking dark sage looks like. The little fucking shit, or the fucking hidden sage, bitch. All my homies hate the hidden sage. Agreed. All right. The rule is in no talking to talk less. Okay, let's go. Sorry, let me change the music now. As it is with all things, unfortunately. I'll leave now. Okay. Yeah, no worries, username. Thanks for popping by. I appreciate it. I hope you have a good rest of your day, bud. Yes, I am in the Lord of the Mysteries Discord. I've never typed anything or checked anything or read anything in there because I'm sure it's all just fucking spoilers. But I am technically in there. As it was mentioned in the Nighthawks, the Hidden Sage is just knowledge as a concept. He doesn't have a look. Oh shit. Okay. He's the concept of knowledge. How do you even embody that? That's like it's like yeah, that's just a concept. That's not even a fucking thing. There was a cold breeze blowing from the basement, providing a hint of relief for Klein's tense emotions. It's finally here. Once I pass this stage, I won't have to worry about being examined like this for at least half a year. Once I advance to sequence 8 and become a so-called clown, I'll possess actual combat strength. With the aid of divination and my flaring sun charms for backup, I'll have a chance of surviving even more relatively dangerous situations. That's why we have no revenge plan. Yeah, that makes sense. Since I was waiting for the Holy Cathedral examination, I haven't even dared to withdraw the £300 that Miss Justice transferred into the account in case they audit my financial situation and find out I'm in possession of a large sum of money from an unknown source. Yeah, but like, it wasn't, I presume you weren't just going to take out the money and put it in your bank account. That'd be fucking stupid. Leave it there. Or like, take out some cash and then leave the rest there. Don't take it out. That's just stupid. Just as Klein's thoughts flashed through his mind uncontrollably, Dunn smoothed his sleeve and said in a low voice, "The person in charge of the examination is one of the 9 high-ranking deacons of the Nighthawks. Crested Sesamir. The Holy Cathedral attaches great importance to you." A high-ranking deacon? Holy shit. Holy shit, yes, you're right. Let's burn all the books. No more knowledge. Bang. In general terms, the 13 archbishops and 9 high-ranking deacons made up the upper echelons of the church. It was said there was no lack of high-sequence beyonders among them. Reject knowledge, return to monk. Oh, by the way, sorry, I don't mean to get off topic, but have you guys seen this? Have you guys seen this? We brought back the dire wolf. By we, I mean like a company, but like, that shit is so cool. There was a fucking, this is Ramus. Ramus, one of the founders of Rome. He's a direwolf, the first to exist in over 10,000 years. That is so cool. There's a fucking... Look at how cute it looks. Oh my god. We have three of them. There's 2 boys, Ramus and Romulus, I think it is. The 2 founders of Rome, I think it is. And then Khaleesi, the girl. Khaleesi, obviously, from Game of Thrones for the Mother of Dragons. Yes, Nightwalker, there are 3. 2 boys and a girl. From my understanding, it's Amnesiac. It's genetically very similar to a direwolf. It's not exactly one. You're right. The genetic code isn't perfect. But like they took a lot of what the ancestral differences between the modern wolf and a dire wolf were and adjusted them according to the DNA that we possessed. So you're right, it's not technically a full dire wolf, but it's like a lot closer to a dire wolf than it is to a regular wolf. But like the fact that we can do that, and my thing is whether they are sterile or not. Like, can they reproduce on their own? Because if so, holy shit, that is so cool. Sorry. Okay, yeah. I just, I thought that was really cool, so I just wanted to mention that. I know that... Oh, I don't know what that is, Dr. Z. I'm gonna have to look that up. Hold on. Cats are better than dogs? Hard disagree. Hard disagree. Parrots, cats, dogs, hard disagree. Parrots? This is just fucking annoying. They sit there and chirp all day. Fuck them. It's basically a wolf DLC, a skin drop. Yes, the 22 ladies and gentlemen were all equal in terms of their ranking. They only followed the orders of the Evernight Goddess and were only answerable to the Pope. Holy shit, there's a Pope? Oh, cheetah. I see. Wait, cheetahs are going extinct, did you say? They're a vulnerable species. Their population is decreasing, but global estimates are like 6,000, so they're not quite even in the endangered category, but that's cool. No, you're right. Oh, I guess now that you say it, yes. Oh, it's not cheetah? Sorry, that's what I pulled up when I looked at it, when I searched that word. I don't know. Interesting. Okay, never mind. Sorry. We're getting off topic. Yes, he's a high-ranking deacon. You don't have to be too nervous. He's only a sequence 5 and has yet to enter a demigod state, so you don't need to be too afraid or reverent. Only sequence 5? Done. You're a sequence 7, bitch, and you might not ever progress again. Let's calm down. Oh, his title in the Beyonder world is Goddess's Sword, as he possesses a holy item. His combat strength is equivalent to a newly advanced sequence 4. I just chatted with him. He's very friendly. If I read between the lines, Captain is telling me only what it was necessary. He doesn't want me to be nervous and go according to the plan. Klein nodded thoughtfully and asked, "Where should I meet the high-ranking deacon?" "The alchemy room where we concoct potions," Dunn simply replied, as a hint of gloominess flashed across his face. "The alchemy room where we concoct potions? The laboratory where Old Neil made my seer potion?" Klein slowly let out a breath and returned to the Nighthawk's recreation room and took his outerwear from the clothes rack. He put on his black windbreaker, placed his hands into his pocket, and walked down the winding stairs that connected to the basement. Then, that is a hard name, dude. The sword of the goddess's sword? Like, this guy's fucking... This guy does the... Like, what was it? Like it reminds me of the title. I can't remember, but there was like a title that like the archangel Michael possessed. It was like the god of the sword of the god or whatever, or something approximate. I can't remember it, but it was like because he was the guy who was he was leading the armies of heaven against Lucifer, right? And I was like, holy shit, dude, that is a hard fucking name for a guy to have. Especially for a sequence 5. Can you imagine what this motherfucker will do when he becomes sequence 4 and higher? Holy shit. He put on a black windbreaker, placed his hands into his pocket, and walked down the winding stairs that connected to the basement, then took a left turn at the cross junction. Very quickly, Klein saw a secret door under the light of the elegant gas lamp that lined the walls. He saw that the long table in the room had been moved aside to open a large space in the center of the room. There were 2 classic high-back chairs facing each other with less than a meter between them. There was a man in his 30s wearing a black windbreaker, white shirt, seated on the chair that was facing the door. Basically the sword of God as a moniker in history? Okay, yeah, thanks DSV. That's what I was... I recalled something like that. Like Archangel Michael had like a hard fucking title. I read it like a long time ago, but I still vaguely remember thinking like, holy shit, that is hard as shit. His golden brown hair was cut very short, and his blackish green eyes were as dark as the forest on a moonless night. The colors of his shirt and windbreaker were put up, and his entire chin was hidden within the shadows. Hello, Your Grace, Klein bowed. Sesamir had his right leg crossed over his left. As he leisurely leaned back into his chair, he smiled and replied, Hello, Klein. You may sit over there. He pointed at the high-back chair opposite him. By the side of his leg was a suitcase made of silver. It was about the size of a violin case. Oh no, violin, so like, okay. It can carry a sword with an appropriate length. Excuse me? A violin case is like 32 inches. It's gotta be a short fucking sword. That'd be just the size of the blade. Where's the handle going? It's gotta be a short blade, but whatever. You see what kind of like useless shit I think about? Klein walked forward and sat at his appointed seat. My favorite is this. What? Who is that for? The Scourge of God? Does that just refer to like divine what is this? He was the ruler of Huns until his death in 453. Huns was a nomadic people who lived in Central Asia, the Caucasus, and Eastern Europe. Oh, cool. I did not know that. The Nightmare of Europe is the coolest name Oh, White Death is so cool, dude. White Death is just literally one guy in like Finland or whatever the fuck. That guy's a fucking... Or he's a like, there's a really bad person and stuff, but you know what the hardest name that I've ever heard, or the hardest moniker? It's him. Again, literally, like, possibly the worst human that's ever existed, or certainly up there. Joseph Mengele. He was a Nazi SS physician who conducted like some vile shit in Auschwitz. His title, or his moniker, was the Angel of Death. He pointed at his, yes, by the side, nope, already read that. Crescent rested his right index finger on the upper lip as he thought for a few seconds. I plan to first examine how well you've mastered your potion. That's not a problem, right? Not at all. Klein shook his head with utmost confidence. Very confident, Crescent smiled but maintained his previous posture. All he did was look intently at Klein. Klein suddenly felt the light of the surrounding gas lamps vanish, as though he were swallowed by a rich darkness. He suddenly became exhausted, as though his biological clock had struck the time for sleep, but his mind was extremely tense, making it impossible to relax. It was just like when he was unable to sleep peacefully due to overexhaustion. The silent night filled his Timur Ling, and the days killed 15. Everyone used to think that he's the horseman of the apocalypse. Who the fuck is that guy? The man who understands infinity. That is cool too. Timur Ling. Is that name sounds familiar, but like I can't place it. Sultan. Ah, the Sultan. I see. Besides that, yes, excellent. Crescent hypnotic voice dispersed the darkness, and the lights from the gas lamps inside and outside the room came into Klein's sight. Klein suddenly shook off his exhaustion and returned to his previous energetic self. He affected me without realizing it. Is that what a sequence 5 is capable of? This is the horror of a high-ranking deacon. Vlad the Impaler. That's a really good one, Milos. Holy shit. This motherfucker, he was like the only guy who who stopped. Was it like, I think it was was it the Turkish Empire? Who the fuck was trying to, who is he fighting? I can't remember. Wallachia. Who was he fighting? The Ottoman Empire. Yeah, he was fighting the Ottoman Empire. He was like the only guy. He was like the only guy who just kept fighting him off because he just petrified their soldiers. They were like, dude, I don't want to fight that dude. Because even if we win, I lose. He recalled what happened and felt a little frightened. Sesamir clasped his hands and put them on his knees. He bent down slightly, and his lips were blocked by his collar. You passed the test. You achieved a level beyond outstanding in your mastery of the potion. Jack the Ripper. Yeah, I mean, that one's fine. I don't really find that, like, that cool. I mean, the connotation of Jack the Ripper is, like, really cool, but, like, the name itself is, like, eh. I'll need to observe, like, especially compared to, like, the Angel of Death, the Vlad the Impaler, the fucking Horseman of the Apocalypse. Holy shit, boys. It is not if we don't talk about history. I think so, yeah. But, like, I love history, so like, I talk about history with everything, Dr. Z. I don't know, it's just, like, it's like a lens through which I see the world. Like, what was that saying? What was that? If humans have learned anything from history, it's that humans learn nothing from history. It's like, it's fucking true, man. Yes. Ivan the Terrible. Yes, that one is good. I'll need to observe to see if there are any hidden changes in your mind to make sure that the potion's remaining spirits hasn't changed your character subconsciously or left some problems. You have 3 minutes to prepare. Yes. Klein immediately nodded and said, all right. He secretly took a breath and allowed himself to enter cogitation to remove negative thoughts. Crescent didn't speak again. He took out his silver pocket watch and flipped it open. He then attentively watched the second hand move. 3 minutes later, Crescent closed his watch and said with a smile, I'll begin singing. Singing? Klein wore a look of confusion. Before Klein could reply, Crescent started humming a lovely melody. The melody reverberated in the alchemy room and gradually lost its harmony and went out of tune. Klein heard the noise akin to scratching of blackboards with nails, the sound of bubble wrap rubbing against each other, electric drilling, and various other annoying sounds. The noises intensified and turned more and more chaotic. They made him want to vent his frustration and cause destruction. But Klein, who had frequently experienced the mad ravings and terrifying screams, resisted his urges quickly. He displayed annoyance, tension, frustration, and insecurity at appropriate times. Being in too perfect of a state would also be a problem. It was unknown whether Casimir had stopped singing. The noises in the alchemy room disappeared and the room was awash with tranquility and silence. Silence is great. Serbia had a king whose nickname was the Mighty. Very good. Excellent. There are no latent problems in your soul. Of course, if you wanted to beat me up or stuff my mouth with something, that's only normal. Cressett's mouth was blocked by his collar, so Klein could only determine his emotions through his tone. No, I wouldn't dare, Klein admitted honestly. Congratulations, you have passed all the tests. What do you mean all the tests? There were 2. Now it's time for your question and answer session. His green eyes suddenly darkened. His gaze was deep as though he could see through flesh, looking directly at Spirit. Go ahead, Klein replied. You said your experience in the divination club allowed you to master your potion quickly. Yes, Klein answered frankly, but didn't describe further. And you said that your inspiration came from the maxim of the mystery priors and also Daly's example. Yes. Ivan the Boneless. Is that? Yeah, I think that was based off an actual Viking, right? And the dude who ruled him was the Weak because he made his country fall to shit. Roselle had already plagiarized all those nicknames and is known by all of them. Stop, no. That's gotta be a joke, right, Nightwalker? Oh, God. Yes, Klein confirmed the first before explaining in detail. I found out from one of my teammates who was a mystery prior that those who abide by the maxim of the mystery priors have a lower possibility of losing control than normal. After that, I heard Madame Daly once say that she wanted to be a real spirit medium, and that she's a genius that leveled up to sequence 7 in 2 years. After noticing both situations, I thought I could give it a try. Yeah. I mean, plus the obvious Alexander the Great. Like, this motherfucker was known as is known as the Great. Yes. After noticing both situations, I thought I could give it a try. I attempted to be a real seer and outline some principles of a seer. The outcome was better than expected. I mastered the potion very quickly. Leola, hi, thanks for popping by. How you doing? Your Grace, I'm not sure if you've had similar experiences, but when I fully mastered the potion, there was a very special magical feeling. Klein described his experience as though he had only vaguely understood the acting process. John, you missed, Devil, thanks for popping by. How you doing? The man the man he had been when he was on Earth would have been nervous and embarrassed to speak so many half-lies before such a powerful Nighthawk. But ever since he transmigrated, he had lied so much he could do it flawlessly. Oh, okay. I didn't know that, Romero. The darkness in Cressett's eyes disappeared. He turned his gaze to normal and said, "Don't worry, it's not an illusion." From his answer, Klein couldn't see any doubt or scrutiny, so he felt at ease. Dunn endorsed your experience. I believe that you really are a genius, with a logical mind and sharp senses. Did you share your experiences with your teammates? Of course, Klein admitted frankly. I hope that I can help them lower the risk of losing control. We're teammates, comrades that face dangers together. I don't have any reason to hide the truth, but for the same reason, I didn't tell the clerks. Klein unset his right leg and sat up straight. His thin lips were exposed from the shadow of the cellar. Although you haven't been you haven't been with the Nighthawks for 2 months, I believe your understanding towards partners is much better than many others. I plan to share more information with you, but according to the Holy Cathedral's rules, you have to swear to the goddess that you won't reveal the contents of our conversation to anyone who doesn't know about this. That should be fine, right? I passed the test. Klein was delighted. No problem. Although I won't be able to teach others the acting method, I can let Miss Justice and the Hanged Man do so indirectly. There was a female Serbian soldier called a Lady of the Dark. Oh, that is very cool. What was, I can't remember, what was the title of Joan of Arc? She had like a really cool title too, no? I feel like... Was that it? I feel like she had something... I feel like Joan of Arc had something cool too. The Maid of Orleans, I didn't know that one, but I feel like she had a fucking cool one too, no? Am I just making that up? Well, I guess maybe, because in my mind, Joan d'Arc, by like the name itself, is like dope as fuck. And just what she did, what a fucking legend, dude. This lady saved her country from fucking being taken over, and then was burned at the stake for fucking for being a heretic, and then was later like posthumously deemed a saint. Like, Jesus Christ, this lady was a fucking legend. Do you know that the wife of someone in the Japanese was the Lady of the Deep, which before was the Lady of the North? Wait, what? The wife of someone in... She's a national hero here in France. She still has family members alive? Really? Richard the Lionheart, yet another cool one. Wait, she has family members? Like she has descendants that are alive? Whoa, that is really cool. I assume, like, from her siblings or whatever, or cousins or some shit. By the way, oh wait, hold on. Sorry, I'm gonna get back to reading in a second. What was it? Yes. I'm not sure if you guys have seen this. From brother and sister. Ah, very cool. Is this a... What the fuck? I'm falling asleep. I'm sorry, Kami, but... Like, I find this shit so cool, okay? One of the descendants of Napoleon and Wellington, who was like a great rival of Napoleon, relatively, because Napoleon didn't really have any rivals in his day, are revealed to be rival traders. So they work at like opposite financial firms that are trading against each other and shit. That was fucking hilarious. Okay. The Mad Monk. Milos, I don't know who that is. Alright, Sesamir nodded. He leaned forward, then swear upon the holy artifact. As he was saying this, the Scourge of God. Someone already mentioned that devil, but that is a hard fucking name. As he was saying this, he bent down to lift the silver suitcase by his hand. Holy artifact? The holy artifact that earned you the title of the goddess's sword? Klein looked at the actions of the deacon curiously. Cresset placed his suitcase on his knees, his brown eyes instantly turning black. He lifted his hand and pressed down. The cover of the silver suitcase, which resembled a violin case, suddenly dissolved and receded like the tide. I can't believe I missed history talk. We were just, so Devil, we were just talking about, like, historically, like, what are some of the coolest fucking, like, titles that people had throughout time. So, like, for me, personally, God, I hate to bring this up on fucking stream again, because, God, he was such a dog shit human being. There was a Nazi physician, Joseph Mengele, who had the title "The Angel of Death," which in my mind was like the hardest shit. Miyamoto Musashi, who I personally believe to be like one of maybe the greatest warrior ever, but like he didn't have that cool of a fucking thing, you know? Like he didn't have that cool of a title. Or, well, I guess, wasn't he referred to as... No, wait, hold on. Wait, was he actually called this? Let me... Actually, wait. If this is his actual title, then he might unironically be the best. What in the actual... Niten... That's like two sword or some shit. Shinmen Musashi no Kami... Like, what in the actual fuck does this mean? Like, if he actually had the title Unrivaled Under the Heavens or Invincible Under the Heavens, man, that's the fucking goated title, dude. I don't know. I can't find it. Margaret Thatcher was called the Iron Lady. That is true. That's also pretty hard. At the same time, Klein felt that the light around him was being drawn forward, as if being absorbed by the suitcase. Apart from the lights from the classic lamps that lined the walls, as well as the silver splendor that spiraled within the suitcase, the alchemy room turned pitch black. The scene looked very strange. Demon King of the Sixth Heaven? Who the fuck is that guy? Napoleon, the Nightmare of Europe? Ah, that's what I was remembering. I knew Napoleon had a hard fucking title, but I couldn't remember it, DSV. Yes, that's... Dude, literally, all of fucking Europe fought this man 4 times, and they won, really, like, once. Who the fuck is this guy? Was a Japanese daimyo and one of the leading figures of the Sengoku era. Oh, cool. He was Tenkabito, a person under the heavens, and regarded as the great unifier, sometimes referred to as the Demon King of the Sixth Heaven. That is actually really hard. With a crisp snapping sound, Sesame opened the suitcase, revealing the pure white bone sword that laid within. A bone sword? The moment Klein saw the sword, he instinctively knew that it was mainly made of bone. The short sword makes sense, silently released a pure white glow in the dark, pitch-dark alchemy room, as if a moon was hanging in the night sky or a lighthouse in the middle of a storm. The Mughal Empire, or Aurangzeb, known as the I don't know, which means conqueror of the universe. Holy shit. Because fate made him into an anime girl. Got banished to an island. Yeah, exactly. He got banished to an island with nothing. He wasn't, like, all of his mail was checked, all of it. He took a boat, landed on the shore of France. Like, 10,000 men were sent to fucking subdue this man, and he just talked to them, and they joined his side. And every time more soldiers were sent to fight him, he just kept telling them, like, you can strike me down if you must, but know in your heart that I am your emperor. And they would go, my liege, and then join him. By the time he reached France, he had basically most of the fucking army. Or sorry, by the time he reached Paris, he had most of the army under his control. And he's like, okay, I'm just seizing the fucking throne again. What a legend. It looked as though the sword had no defects on its surface, but a closer examination would reveal the surface of the sword was laced with layers of symbols and icons. These mysterious patterns intertwined to form the body of the sword. Klein observed the holy sword, suddenly realizing that he couldn't look away. His vision became... was being drawn to the sword as his brown eyes slowly lost their luster. Crescent lifted the suitcase, moving the sword away from its original position. Who the fuck is the dragon lady? Klein instantly snapped out of his trance and finally freed himself from the nightmare he couldn't escape. He cast his gaze and said, "Your Grace, do you need me to place my hand upon the holy sword?" "Yes, come over." Dr. Z, you're right. Like, names, like, in particular, I have trouble with, like, dates in particular. So, like, dates, I just have a really hard time remembering. But I think once you understand the, like, overarching narrative of history, the facts sort of slot in. Like, if I'm, let's say, talking to someone and they... And like let's say we're arguing about something and they say like, oh, like, you know, when like Hitler died in like 1943, or like they make that mistake. Now, realistically, it's really easy to make the mistake of like, oh, Hitler died in 45, but he said 43. Like, okay, no problem. But the problem is, if you mess that up, you conceptually don't understand how World War II is going. You don't understand what happened in those last 2 years of the war. Like, you don't understand how much the fucking Nazis were ramping shit up. You don't understand what was happening on the Eastern Front. Like, none of that. Like, so the slots fit in. Same thing with people. The names are hard, but once you understand, like, the overarching narrative of what was happening and how like people slot in, how their childhood, how their, you know, aristocracy, how their titles, whatever, affected who they became, everything slots in. So... in that sense, it helps. I think it's more important to first understand the larger scope of it, and then the smaller stuff will slot in. Like, why do we need to study the economy system? Well, the reason Nagito is sorry. If you just wanna rant, by the way, I'm totally here for it. But if you actually want the answer, the reason is because wars are almost always due to money. That's the answer. The reason World War II happened was because Germany was on the fucking brink of collapse after the, oh my fucking god, I can't remember the whatever peace treaty at the end of World War I, where Germany had to give so much money that their fucking economy became just worthless, right? So, or that their money became worthless. So like that. So like that's the reason economy systems are important to understand, because it helps you understand what caused wars. Versailles Treaty. Yes, thank you, DSV. Yes, because the Versailles Treaty was like basically everyone saying like, okay, Germany, this is all your fault, and because you lost, you're going to pay everyone a bunch of money. And Germany was like, what the fuck do you mean? Where am I paying this money from? Not my problem. And so they just started printing money out the ass, and their inflation went brrr. Klein stood up, still looking to the side as he took small steps. As it was dark, he couldn't see where the legs of the deacon were, nor his old leather boots. "Stop," Crescent spoke calmly. Klein's eyes immediately halted and stood on the spot. He took a quick glance at the pure white bones to the corner of his eyes before retracting his gaze again. Okay, sorry, Milos. With that mere glance, he bent down and extended his right hand, accurately placing it atop the holy sword. A cold feeling swept through the skin and into his mind. The distracting thoughts and feelings of worry instantly eased, as if he was sitting on the roof of in a noisy village, smelling the scent of the harvest and admiring the starry night sky. "Recite after me." "All right." He then heard the deacon speak in Hermes. "O Evernight goddess, nobler than the stars and more eternal than the eternity, I swear to you in my real name and my spirituality. I, Klein, will never reveal the details of the acting method to those who do not know it from this moment on. If I go against this, I shall accept any punishment you deem fit. Please witness my oath." Klein collected himself and made the oath in Hermes, following Caesar. Good lord, following Sesamir's lead. Kaiser and Tsar both come from Caesar? Ah, that makes sense. Cool. I didn't know that. He had the faint feeling that a connection had been established between him and a faraway being through the pure white bone sword. We only learn about World War II, more specifically how it happened and how bad it was. I didn't learn about the Treaty of Versailles or don't remember it. Really? Wait, Leola, are you from, well, I guess this is a rhetorical question at this point, but I assume you're from Germany then? If that's a yes, I have a follow-up question, but, after retracting his right hand, he drew a crimson moon on his chest. Praise the lady. Praise the lady. Cresset smiled and bowed. Yes. Interesting. You didn't learn about the Treaty of Versailles. So, like, are you not taught about World War I at all? Or is it just, like, a very minor chapter that you just don't remember it? Because, like, because if you learned about World War I, you would have to learn about the Treaty of Versailles. And if you just didn't learn about World War I, that would be really weird. I learned sorry. Immediately, he closed the cover of the suitcase and pressed down heavily on his right hand. 4 years World War II? Jeez. The darkness was instantly lit up as the light from the lamp once again filled the entire room. Klein noticed the eyes of the deacon had regained their usual blackish green. He made his way back and asked in puzzlement, "Acting method?" Cresset cleared his throat. Without answering the question, he smiled and said, "You might feel a little confused and not understand what I'm about to tell you, but I can't explain why that is so, for that involves the secret of the church. You will only have the right to know after you become an archbishop or high-ranking deacon." Klein looked at Casimir and added inwardly, "You will only be permitted to know after you..." Yeah. He emphasized. I'm not reading that again. Klein nodded sternly. Cresset placed the silver suitcase back on his foot and crossed his legs. In the long history of time, the church has had generations upon generations of geniuses slowly figuring out a way to avoid losing control. And the core of this method is the name of the potion. It's not only critical, it's also the key. After looking at Klein's thoughtful expression, Cresset continued, "We have realized that the names of the potions all point to a certain group, and this group has their own approach and operates in unique ways. In simpler terms, there are a set of rules that come with the name of the potion, different rules for different potions. When we follow these rules strictly, the risk of losing control is reduced to a minimum." Similar to my set of seer principles, Klein took the opportunity to ask. "This explanation isn't as simple as understandable as the one I gave Justice or Hanged Man," Klein silently criticized. I learned about Bismarck in Civ 6. Yes, Cresset gave an answer. "When we follow the rules of the potion, we become more and more like the group described by the name of the potion. In other words, we are acting as the job that the name of the potion points us towards. That is the acting method. You must remember, the spirituality of every person is special, unique. Even though the core rules must be followed by the people who consume the same potion, there are always variations that are unique to the individual. Thus, the experiences of others can only serve as a guide." Not Klein. Hey, listen, Klein is the leader. That would be like the Pope of a secret organization. So really, who is of a higher rank? Klein? Something to think about, you know? I'm bullshitting, by the way. I'm just fucking lying. That is a point I didn't realize. Klein said sincerely, "Thank you for informing me. I will remember that. These are the experiences accumulated over generations. After using the acting method, we not only gain mastery of the potion, we're also digesting it, just as we would our food. When you truly digest the potion, you will feel a unique, mysterious sensation. Understood? Higher rank in scamming? Dude, he's unironically, like, I'm not even gonna say Pope. He's literally the god of scamming. He's a fucking legend. I understand. Digestion. This is a very appropriate. The term is very appropriate. Klein pretended to be deep in thought. As Cresset explained the method in more detail, Klein weighed his words and asked, "Your Grace, since the name of the potion is not only the core but also the key, how did the first Beyonders obtain it? I heard it was recorded on the blasphemy slate." Yes, that is correct. The god of the broke. Yes. Who's the... wait, what is it? He can be any one of them. Patron saints of the poor. Any one of them will work just fine. He can be Saint Nicholas. Lord of the bathroom. Yes, that is correct. But the blasphemy slate was inscribed in the with the ancient names. The name of the potions we use today were derived from divine revelation. Some were also consolidated by experiences of the Beyonders themselves throughout heaven and earth. Klein alone is the Brome? What is Brome? Take a deep breath and try again. Hey, Lord of the Minecraft YouTubers. Hey, listen, Minecraft YouTubers have a different connotation nowadays, okay? It doesn't just mean like you're a family-friendly YouTuber. You're something else too, man. So, you know what? He doesn't want to be their lord. My keyboard is dying. Your Grace, since the acting method is so effective, why wouldn't we tell every Nighthawk? I have said that it is a secret of the church. You will understand the reason behind it when you become an archdeacon or a high-ranking archbishop or a high-ranking deacon. Unfazed. All right, return upstairs and tell the rest of the Nighthawks to come down one at a time. I have to carry out the final step of the examination. Ain't no party like a... No. Devil. No, I'm not reading that, bro. That's to keep Fry and others from divulging the acting method. Klein stood up. Klein thought as he stood up. He then bade farewell, following the Nighthawk's etiquette. He made his way past the corridor and up the stairs. Returning to the security company, he saw Dunn smoking his pipe. With a smile, Klein took the initiative to say there shouldn't be any more problems. He wants me to inform Fry and the others to head downstairs for a conversation. Yes, that is the last step. That means there were no problems. Dunn put away his pipe and headed to the recreation room to tell the rest. As he watched Fry and Sika enter the basement, Klein suddenly recalled something. He said in a hurry, Captain, are we going to have to get Royale, who's guarding Chanis Gate, and Leonard, who's watching over the asylum, and Dudley, who's on break? Dunn froze and pinched his forehead. I forgot. He paused for a moment and said, then chortled, but the matter shouldn't be too complicated. One of the advantages of having a high-ranking deacon examine you is that there's no need to send a telegraph to the Holy Cathedral or engage in some cumbersome exchange of letters. He can make the decision on the spot and hand the formula to the clown potion as well as the main ingredients to you. That's not too bad. An hour and a half passed. As Kenley walked out of the alchemy room, his expression full of puzzlement, Klein was once again called downstairs. He met the deacon once again, Sesamir, a second time. This time, the golden brown-haired and blackish-green-eyed deacon wasn't seated. He stood there, allowing the breeze in the basement to blow at his black windbreaker. Bro forgot to remember that he forgot. Bullseye, how's it going? Thanks for popping by. Cresset's collar stood tall, hiding his chin in the shadows. He looked at Klein and smiled. Nighthawk Klein Moretti, I announce in the name of the goddess that you have passed the examination of the Holy Cathedral. Congratulations. With your contribution, you can immediately advance to become a Sequence 8 Beyonder. Let's go! Alright, I've been saying this for 30 fucking chapters, but finally I think we're here. Holy shit. How long did that fucking take, man? I feel like I've been saying this since like chapter 130. That it was coming. It's coming. It's coming anytime now. And I've been saying this for so long. Holy shit, man. Time to clown. Oh, good lord, man. I'm not accustomed to sitting this long. The clown potion, let's go. He's gonna start acting like a fucking clown now. What does that look like? Nobody fucking knows. Let's find out. It's clowning time.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Let's go! All right, let's do this, bitch. When Klein heard Sesamir's announcement, he let out a breath of relief despite being mentally prepared for it. It felt surreal, as though it was a dream. He had assumed that the examination would be tougher and lengthier. That doesn't sound right. But when he thought carefully about it, he realized what had just happened was what should have happened. If he took the normal 3 years to digest the seer potion instead of doing it in a month, the examination wouldn't have been concluded by the cathedral. The Nighthawk's captain would have been responsible for it instead. I thought they would investigate my family, friends. Perhaps he would arrive in Tinge in 2 days and completed that in secret. I also thought about the examination would also require me to complete some task. I was really overthinking it. The goal of the examination is merely to determine the level of digestion for the potion, as well as detect any latent dangers. And see whether I'm aware of the acting method, and if I shared my experiences with others. These thoughts flew past Klein's mind. He flashed a sincere smile. "Thank you, Your Grace. Praise the lady." Crescent nodded gently and said, "To advance is to serve the goddess better, so that you can protect our fellow believers better. Remember this, and trust me. It'll help you fight the temptation of losing control." Temptation. Crescent sized up Klein with his green eyes and said, "The acting method can help you digest potions and lower the risk of losing control. But it's not the end-all be-all. To a certain extent, you can even confuse playing the role and your own existence. You know there are many actors in the theaters that develop severe psychological issues. At a certain level, you might really go insane. Remember that you're only acting. The only point of note concluded by the City of Silver is identical to what the deacon said." Klein nodded in agreement. In addition, not only is losing control related to the potion, it's also closely related to your emotions and mental health. The most important thing for a Beyonder is to lose control. Only then will you be able to withstand the temptations of evil gods and the devil. Resisting emotions like greed and jealousy and the erosion of desire. Of course, I don't mean that you should get rid of all your emotions and desires, because that's something no human or even demigod can do. Yes, perhaps only some special sequences are able to achieve that sort of state. That seems like a little bit of foreshadowing there. Like you just take like a psychopath potion, or no, what was it? Fuck, detective? Oh, like the detective potion, detective sequence or whatever, and then you just become fucking legend, and then you just don't feel anything. You just become straight thought. You're just, no emotions, just straight brain power. Klein suddenly thought about Old Neil. He couldn't help but ask in reply, "We must keep our emotions and desires at the reasonable level, and not allowing them to drive us to do something irrational and abnormal." What do you mean, Romero? What do you mean, where was there a detective potion? Oh, okay. Oh, I see, because it hasn't been revealed. Oh, I see. Do you remember, like a week or maybe 2 weeks ago or something, there was a stream and I made a joke about the detective potion, and then someone like accidentally confirmed it because they were like, "Wait, how do you know that?" or whatever. You guys remember this, I think. So like, I know there's a detective potion somewhere. I don't know if it's like sequence 9 or sequence 3 or what number it is or whatever the fuck, but I know it exists, so. Yeah, okay. It wasn't detective? I think it was one of those who confirmed. You got it was another. You forgot. Okay. Detective? It would... Wait, it... I'm trying so hard not to laugh. I'm trying so hard. You guys are giving Ramiro a stroke. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay, let's just... Okay. Okay, don't read chat, read novel. Yes, you're right. Yes. Klein suddenly thought about old Neil. He couldn't help but ask in reply, we must keep our emotions and desires at a reasonable level and not allow them to drive us to do something irrational and abnormal. Yes. I did indeed read everything Amnesiac. That was, that was so bad. I did. Lawyer. Yeah, I saw it. It was lawyer, yeah. Yeah, it wasn't detective, it was lawyer. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I did. I'm not gonna lie to you. It was lawyer, not detective. Fuck, what? I can't remember the joke. I can't remember what it was. Oh, I remember. It was like, I don't know. They said something. And I was like, oh, like imagine how dog shit it would be that if you could take a Beyonder potion to just do a regular fucking job like a lawyer or some shit instead of just going to school. That was the joke. Okay, that was the joke. You guys can't even take advantage of the moment he forgets. That's all I wanted to warn you about. Now, I'll pass the clown potion formula and reveal ingredients. He bent down and put down his suitcase on the table. He then turned around and moved a few steps back, blocking Klein's view. When the surrounding lights strangely vanished again, Klein suddenly understood that the formula and ingredients were the suitcase that stored the holy artifact. It was simply because his gaze was attracted by the pure white bone, which was why he didn't see or notice, or perhaps he couldn't notice, the other items in the case. After a few items... Okay, yeah. I'm definitely gonna need... yeah, that was fucking hilarious. Holy shit. I lucked into something... forgot about it, and then like lucked into it again. Dude, I'm just so up here was me the first time when I accidentally got to it. Right here was gonna be me if Dr. Z didn't confirm it, and then I became hit this again. That was hilarious. That's too funny, man. Wait, hold on. Among them was the... Yes. After a few minutes, yes, among them, the most eye-catching was the palm-sized gray goat horn. It looked like a miniature version of a normal goat horn and was crystal clear, swirling with colors. There were faint layers of unique patterns. Next to the goat horn was a blue rose. There were red veins on the petals that connected them together. It seemed to form a human face with a smile. Klein heard illusory laughter and crying diffused with each other, and he saw pieces of gray halos floating in midair. A crystal of single horn of a matured hornaceous gray mountain goat and a complete stock of human-faced rose. The main ingredients of the clown potion. He nodded indiscernibly and took a few steps back. All the fucking... thing. I'm not reading all those. Klein looked at the unfurled goat skin parchment and compared the contents to the formula that he had memorized. He's not ready for the cashier potion. And this is you if you take the cashier potion. Just little bro. Burger flipper potion. Dude, the McDonald's is a weakest warrior. Customer service potion. Sir, I apologize that your OnlyFans was cancelled. Let me look into this. After he confirmed that there was nothing wrong, he recalled the demonstration old Neil did. He took a deep breath and exhaled slowly to collect his emotions. With the app Ronald McDonald at the top of the sequence, hell yeah. With the apparatus in the alchemy room, he distilled some pure water needed by the potion. In the potion formula, pure water referred to water that was distilled over and over again. In the potion form, yep, already read that. Then he washed a black metal pot and threw in the supplementary ingredients one after another. Oh, by the way, Romero or someone else can confirm. Is there like a number I should stop? So right now my plan was to stop at 70, and then again I plan to do like a 3 or 4 chapter stream at night. Is it okay if I stop around 174? Is that okay? Or like in terms of like is there anything, or like is there a better stop too? Yeah, Nightwalker, my plan was to stream roughly at the same time I did last night too. Again, so let me know if like 174-ish, that's where I plan on stopping, if that works okay. Yeah, sounds good. Thanks, bud. Wait, hold on. He washed a black metal pot and threw in the supplementary ingredients one after another. He was as skillful as back when he did chemistry experiments in high school. As for the Beyonder ingredients, he hadn't catalyzed just yet. He didn't see any obvious changes in the liquid in the metal pot. At most, he saw the powder floating on the surface of the liquid. When he was done with the preparation, Klein cast his gaze at the 2 main ingredients and gratefully thought, "There's no description of the exact size or weight required of the goat horn or the rose. Perhaps a whole horn and a complete rose have no differences regardless of their weight, allowing them to meet the ingredients. Yes, in the world of the Beyonders, that is definitely possible." So, 174 is good? Alright, thanks for now. So if I don't have to worry about putting in excessive amounts of main ingredients. After a few seconds, Klein picked up the human-faced rose and threw it into the metal pot. And the strange flower touched the liquid. It immediately produced a sizzling sound. The surrounding illusory laughter became shrill. Klein didn't delay any further as he immediately grabbed a crystalline mountain goat and threw it into the metal pot. Oh, by the way, I was thinking about that, not to stop anymore, but I was thinking about the theory that I was discussing yesterday, if you guys remember. I'm sure a couple of you do. I'm not going to go over it all over again if you're interested. But, so I thought up until 5 that they were like separate things, and then my whole thing was like, that up here that they join into one thing. So I'm thinking like 5, 4, 3, 2, and then at 1 they combine into like 1. That's my theory. That like potion 1 of the 2 or 3 potions that can come together are like the same. That's what I'm thinking. Like, let's say like the joke that Nightwalker made. She's like, let's say Dr. Z is the sequence 1 of the spoiler pathway. So like you can be a spoiler pathway over here. You can be I don't know. What was what's another joke? Like you can be part of the inappropriate pathway over here. You can be part of the dumb jokes pathway over here. Fuck me, I can't write on this. But then you end up at the same shitty chatter pathway at number 1. Something like that. Yeah. I'm sequence 1 on unemployed pathway. Nice. See? What was it? In York's case, sequence 1, you can come from the unemployed graduate pathway, you can come from the McDonald's pathway, or you can come from the I never went to school and now my life sucks pathway. They all end up at unemployed. Really cool, because we are in a recession. Say it with me, boys. Yay. Jobless bum pathway. Holy shit. Yeah, sorry. Okay, we're gonna say jobless. Way better. Yes, Nagito. Good shit. CS pathway over here. And then grad. Yeah. We're gonna say those. All 4 end up at unemployment, but you take wholly separate paths to get there. Really cool. Okay. My original analogy was like a highway, but this works. This works well too. Mod pathway, yes. So to get to a mod path, so let's say mod, okay? Let's say mod is, let's say sequence 1. Sorry, this is the final one, and then we get back to reading. I promise. Let's say mod is the peak, okay? To get to mod, you can be a... We're going to say jobless bum is part of both pathways. I think that does it. Big fan is part of another one. Big fan, that's this one over here. What would the middle one be? Jobless bum, pathway. No, devil, I'm not saying that, bro. Devil, I'm not saying that. So you can be like jobless, you can be big fan, or you can be... Oh, or literal child. Sorry. Or you can be literal child. All 3 will lead you to mod in the end. Really cool. Okay. Bro's like the meme of the crazy guy pointing at the whiteboard. Well, yeah, I thought of you, Milosh, and then I was like, oh, that's good. So, yeah. Okay, I'm not doing any more pathways. Okay, you guys get it. Stop. Klein didn't delay any further as he immediately grabbed the goat horn and threw it into the pot. The terrifying... I already read that. Never mind. Klein lowered his head and saw the liquid in the pot was a colored mix of gold, yellow, and red. However, the 3 colors remained extremely distant at their boundaries. The scene reminded Klein of Sprite, a carbonated drink. This actually looks like a delicious drink. Bro, really? Interesting. That's a lot of colors, but you do you, man. A thought popped into his head that aligned with the characteristics of his culture. See, like, I would love to, like, discuss that theory with, like, Easy and see what his take on it is. Like, see. But I guess, again, he might know shit that just fucks it up, so I don't know. Suppressing his nervousness, like, maybe he knows, like, sequence 1 pathways of a couple different ones, and then they're just separate or something. I don't know. Suppressing his nervousness, excitement, and anticipation, Klein poured the liquid from the black metal pot into the glass bottle. What shocked him was that there wasn't a single bit of potion left in the metal pot. Easy will definitely let us spoilers. Yeah, that's why before we talk, like, for real, I'd prefer to be, like, relatively similar to where he is, and then we can chat more. Because, again, that's not, like, his fault, because it's hard to remember where, like, I couldn't tell you. If someone was at, like, chapter 100, I might say something that they just don't know, because I don't fucking remember what was said, but there's just no clue. Crescent... hold on. Crescent, who had been silent the entire time, suddenly smiled and said, "Don't worry. At the very least, I didn't notice any problems with the concoction of your potion. I've been waiting here to ensure no accidents happen after you consume the potion. Don't worry, as long as it's nothing serious, I should be able to save you." Why the fuck would you say that, bro? This is like a doctor who like, before they go to sleep is like, before you go to sleep for like a surgery or whatever, they come up to you and they go, "Hey, so like, we're all prepped for this surgery, should be fine, relatively routine surgery. Quick question though, if you die, are you a donor? Are you an organ donor?" You're like, what the fuck? Why the fuck would you say that to me? He then took off the silver chain inside his sleeve and let the topaz pendant hang naturally a slight distance above the liquid. To Beyonders of any other occupation, pendulum divinations could only give a yes or no answer. Of course, when there wasn't enough information, the divination wouldn't yield any useful answers at all. When the pendulum didn't spin, it was called a failed divination. As a seer, Klein's pendulum could also vaguely determine the degree of yes or no. Klein's eyes grew dark as he recited, "The potion is harmful." 7 times later, he opened his half-closed eyes and saw the topaz spinning clockwise, but very slowly. It is harmful, but not only slightly harmful, yeah. Yes, potions can bring about a loss of control, so there's a possibility of harm. A low level of harm means there's nothing wrong with the potion. Klein let out a breath of relief and wound the pendulum on his left wrist before covering it with his sleeve. At that moment, Crescent couldn't help but sigh. You really are a professional seer. I must fully utilize my advantage. I can't help but rely on it too much and think that it's all-powerful. After drinking it, I'll become a Sequence 8 Beyonder. The thought flashed in his mind. If you guys, Nagito, if you want, just message the theory in like the spoiler chat in the Discord, and then like Romero can confirm that it's all good, and you can send it in here, and we can talk about it. I must yes. The thoughts flashed in his mind, and Klein didn't hesitate. He raised the bottle, tipped his head, and gulped down the potion. Bitter. So bitter. It totally sucks. He instantly realized what it meant to look good on the outside, but rotten on the inside. His face had contorted as a result of the potion. He wanted to puke, but didn't. Then Klein realized that his face was flush red. As for the rest of the body, he was experiencing a similar reaction. He was convinced that he looked like a steamed lobster. Hold on. And what Klein looks like right now? He was convinced, yes. As for his spirit and mind, they felt like they'd been extracted into a thin needle, fusing with the potion, drop by drop, as it stabbed into each and every one of his cells. It was a feeling that needed no microscope to absorb the cells. Klein stood there and saw the intruder invade his body's most minute areas. For a few seconds, a picture of Family Guy who fell down the stairs? Family Guy who fell down the stairs? Oh, wait, Peter... I assume you're referring to this, I assume? Yes, for a few seconds he felt like a robot that was having its parts and electrical circuits swapped out. After an unknown period of time, his mind reflected his figure as though he was listening to himself singing through his own ears. Due to the strange projection, Klein discovered that he could precisely control his facial and bodily motions. Whoa! Meanwhile, his ears buzzed. He heard the murmurs and shoutings echoing around him, which hadn't happened in a while. Hornacius Phlegria. Klein imagined a layered spherical light and slowly entered a state of cogitation. Bit by bit, he escaped from the state of having his spirituality seep out, where he had a slight loss of control. At that moment, he knew that he advanced successfully. He knew he was a Sequence 8 clown. Let's go! Fucking 30 chapters later, it happened! It finally happened! Let's go! Okay, alright. Okay, dope. Now Klein is a Rudius Glazer? Okay, none of that, no. Alright, give me 2 seconds, guys. I'm just gonna run to the washroom, then we'll do the last 2 chapters. This one feels like it's pretty short. No, I lied. This is like a pretty average chapter. I'll be right back. Society. You see, when he shits, it's a normal thing. When I shit in the street, society. Average word count? Oh, interesting. That's not too bad. When a baby kicks a pregnant woman, it's fine, but when I do it, society calls me insane. Calls it assault. He's been saying that for sequence, for seer, that controls the seer path. Easy has been saying that one of the sequences for seer is beast tamer, and that with a secret organization controls the seer pathway, and the woman that gave Klein the Fool card is one of them. Okay, let's try to walk through that logic really quickly. So his logic is presumably based off of the fact that that joke that Klein made, that like a seer and clown have like what they have in common is that you can both find them both at a circus, and then the extension to that is a beast tamer. It could also be found at a surface, so it could theoretically be part of the sequence. But why would they give a random nobody a fool card and divination if she's part of a secret organization? That's what I don't I don't understand why that would be the case. Yeah, so I don't get, like, the first part of that tracks. We can say that they're both found at a potion, so that makes sense. They're both found at a circus, sorry, so that makes sense. But then the future part is like, Klein was nobody then. He was just walking to get groceries. Why the fuck would he bother? Or why the fuck would the beast tamer bother giving that guy a divination? No, I understand that, Nagito. I understand that she's working as a beast tamer. Get that. Let's say she's working as a beast tamer to act, and she's part of the order, and the secret order. No problem. But why am I divining for this loser? This guy's nobody. Why am I divining for him? Okay. After the color in Klein's eyes went back to normal, Sesamir said with a laugh, "You can move about and try to get used to the changes in your body. Try to find the core powers that were given to you by your clown potion." Klein nodded. He considered the fact that he might need guidance from the deacon and thus didn't care about his presence. He repeatedly followed what he had been practicing all this time. As he took a step forward, his twisted hips threw a punch forward, launching a frontal jab. He heard a crisp sound of the air of his fist breaking the air. The power in the forward thrust exceeded his expectations. In that instant, he felt as though he was sitting in a carriage which had abruptly hit the brakes. He lost balance and fell forward. The main character halo? Yeah. Oh no. This is about to be an embarrassing story, just like Leonard's. At that moment, he noticed that he could still effectively control his muscles, his body, as well as his center of control. He simultaneously exerted force with his spine, tendons, ligaments, and instantly adjusted his center of mass and managed to stand firm despite his distorted posture. Well, upon gaining understanding of this, Klein attempted several other actions. He confirmed that the biggest change in his body was a massive increase in coordination. He would no longer lose his balance unless there was some extenuating circumstances. So we're reading to 170, Milos. I'm at 169 right now, so 2 chapters, including this one, and that's it. And then we'll do another short stream in the, evening for me. Think in 4 dimensions? I don't know how to use time as a dimension, dude. And Nightwalker, if you manage to figure it out, call your local physicist. He will thank you immensely. In Easy's theory, Beast Tamer is a sequence on the Seer pathway, so maybe she divined that he would be an important person in the future? Maybe, and again, maybe divinations get stronger in the future, but like, How do I divine that a random person walking by is important? How do I do that? Like, do I divine every single person that I come into contact with? Like, there's no fucking way, right? So, like, and again, maybe it's possible because, like, I don't know how exponential the power curve works for a seer, but like, I don't know. I just don't see it. Easiest theories are not meant to be followed by logic. Well, that's the only thing I have, man. I don't have any creativity. Okay, I just have logic, unfortunately. He simultaneously, yes. All right. Yes, I feel like a roly-poly tumbler. I can even act in a circus now. It wouldn't be too hard for me to walk on a rope. The clown potion sure lives up to its name. Many thoughts flashed through his mind. Klein once again tested the extent of his improvements to his strength, agility, and speed. I should be around the same level as Gawain now. After I get used to this and go through the specialized training, I'll definitely be more powerful. And with my current mastery over my body, it would be easy to grasp combat techniques. Klein stopped moving and nodded in thought. According to his plans, he estimated that he would become decent in combat arts in only half a year after consuming the clown potion. He felt that it would take a month, perhaps 2 or 3 weeks, before he could qualify as a policeman that was adept in combat. Now your pathway fusion theory is really cool. Oh, thank you. That was the difference between an average person and a Beyonder. In a sense, the talents of Beyonders were beyond the reach of normal humans. Beyond? Oh! Crescent watched silently as the newly advanced Klein tried out various actions before stopping completely. He then nodded. It truly is a potion adept in the field of combat. Without waiting for Klein to speak, he asked, "What sounds did you just hear?" I heard someone muttering Hornaces. Klein wanted to keep the term Phlegria a secret for the time being. What is Phlegria? Oh, it's just a... Okay, I thought it was an actual word. Never mind. Yeah, I don't know. String theory, I don't understand. I've tried. I don't think I have the IQ for it. My like the IQ differential between what I have and what is needed to grasp string theory is like a standard of deviation, so like 15 points or something. I don't know. I just don't get it. Alright, hold on. He wanted to observe the reaction of Casimir. If he was willing to relay information regarding the Hornaces mountain range and the nation of the Evernight, Klein would then add on, saying he had heard something different again. Crescent nodded slightly, skipping over the topic. He reminded Klein, remember, a high-sequence Beyonder can influence corresponding low-sequence Beyonders in the same sequence pathway to a certain extent. In a way, some parts of the respective pathways contain realms of the demigods. The murmurings and howls might have unintentionally conveyed them to you by them. They may be filled with malicious intent. These equations look like runes to me. I mean, nothing here. I mean, there's nothing here to take notes of so far, is there? Oh, yeah, I guess. Some parts of the pathway contain the realms of demigods. I don't know what that means. What is the realm of the demigods? I don't know, but okay. No, you guys are right. That was important, yeah. You might even be more cautious if the sequence pathway belongs to an evil god. I had a chat with Dunge just now. The Nighthawk in your team who had lost control recently was met with such a situation. The Hidden Sage. Klein's expression darkened. Your Grace, I will remember this. I will not be tempted by the murmurings or the howls. I will not be corrupted by them. Maybe divine that you'll meet an important person today? That could be possible, Nagito, but then, like, how do you pick that person, right? Some parts of the pathways, the real realm of the demigods just means sequence 4 and above. Oh, okay. Oh, I see. Okay. Could this be the reason that the church only provides this pathway of the sleepless and corpse collector while hiding a large number of other pathways? After all, the sleepless pathway belongs to the Evernight goddess, and death, which responds to the corresponding corpse collector pathway. Oh, if death responds to the corpse collector pathway, then death should be the pathway of Azek, which is, I think, what I said yesterday, right? Because the hypothesis is that Azek made like a deal with death, or he's like a descendant. Okay, cool. But I did say that yesterday. I mean, sorry, I didn't say that yesterday. Sorry. I divined it yesterday. So, yeah. As for the way the church would still offer the mystery prior and seer, it's because these two jobs are support type and can fill the shortcomings of the 9 and 8 for sleepless and corpse collector. Furthermore, they're only at the beginning of the pathway, so the influence they gather wouldn't be too prominent. And the coin divination worked. But this doesn't mean that they would hide the names and unique traits of the potion, or lack of information as to what one should take note when facing them. Your Grace, I would like to know how to act as a clown. Do I have to go to a circus? According to our current understanding of philosophy, you made the mistake of formalism. You need to understand that the name of the potion not only represents a job, it also represents a group of people that share certain traits. For example, we can describe seers differently. We can call them people who can see fate yet remain respectful of fate. Of course, as I mentioned earlier, there are some differences to the rules concluded by each individual. Even if they consume the same potion, you can't completely reference the experiences of another person. Do you understand? I guess. I think I can understand some of it. I can act like a clown in my daily life as long as I've grasped its essence. In theory, Crescent answered, I understand. Thank you, Your Grace. May the goddess bless you. What is the essence of a clown? This is the essence of a clown. You just have to do that. Just walk around like this, and then you're done. It'll be like 48 hours. You just keep this makeup on all day, 48 hours, fully consume the potion. You can just do it before the deacon even leaves. You can do it before the deacon even leaves Tingen, and then get sequence 7 from them. Genius. Super quick. Wait, where was I? If I don't take into consideration what a clown represents back on Earth and only think about what it means in this world, a clown is a job that entertains people using ridiculous methods. For example, hilarious get-ups, exaggerated actions, trickster-like performances. The core is that I must be ridiculous, and I must entertain others. It feels a little off. Hold on. Okay. Klein just needs to find like a food place and just sit there like this, and he might yet still get to sequence 7 like so quickly. I'm not even kidding. Like you just pull one of these bad boys, bang, immediate. Crescent looked at him and drew a crimson moon before his chest. May the goddess bless you too. At that moment, Klein suddenly perceived something, an intuition like a prediction. Casimir would put his left foot forward. He then saw Crescent pick up a silver suitcase and step towards the entrance of the alchemy room with his left foot. 1, 2, 3. Klein watched Crescent walk out the door, his figure vanishing into the corridor. He was dazed for a moment before he felt intense excitement. The beyonder powers of a clown potion were more powerful than he imagined. He could intuitively predict a person's next course of action. He doesn't even know the name of sequence 7. You see, Dr. Z? Hold on. No, hold on. I have so many tabs open. God's sakes. No, where is it? Okay. See, Dr. Z? That attitude right there, that he doesn't have sequence 7?
That you true.
Then would I? That's why no one will remember your name.
Don't think so lightly of yourself, okay? You just take the step you can right now, and then you worry about the future later, okay? No such thing. Never tone down your ambition. Words of wisdom. If you watched a solo leveling, you'd digest it in 0.3 seconds. Okay. Was the combination of this ability coupled with his powerful coordination, exceptional agility and speed, as well as the decent strength considered being good at fighting with artifice? Well, Yarg, I have like this I have this reputation in my family that like I have a meme in my phone for everything. Like any situation happens, anything at all, and I just go, okay, give me 2 seconds, and I'm like scrolling through my phone. I'm like, I have a meme for this. It's somewhere. Like I don't know. I just think like that. I don't know. I just because I try to find humor as much in anything as much as I can. So like I just I just have like so many memes saved, and like it's constantly running through like what would work in this moment and stuff, like a good bit basically. So this is considered the manifestation of the seer's ability in sequence 8. I just got back from watching a video on how Gen Z can't read or comprehend. We're cooked. Oh, dude, it's not, dude. Okay. Sorry. One quick stop here. What the fuck is happening? Quick thing. So, what was I gonna say? Oh yes, I was so. As most of you know, I'm in my 4th year of university. I'm like graduating in like 2 months. But in my this semester, I realized I was missing a 1st year course, so I was taking a 1st year course in my last semester of uni. And so I'm a 4th year who's like checked out because I'm graduating. I don't really care. I don't want to be there. It's 1st year course. It's like they're teaching how like 1st years how to use Excel and like Power BI and stuff. And I was like, dude, I don't need to be here. And then like I'm talking to these like 1st years, and they were like, yeah, like I just use like ChatGPT to do everything. And I was like, dude, do you understand how bad it would have been for me that if ChatGPT came out like 4 years earlier? Like for me, it was just a helpful thing because ChatGPT came out really when I was in 3rd year of uni. I started using it this year. So like I had a good basis built up of like stuff, and I understood how stuff worked. These kids are not going to know anything. They're just going to ChatGPT everything all the way up until they graduate, and then we'll go into the workforce like, because they just never learned how to do anything. It's just ChatGPT all of it. Remember the guy who came into Klein's room late at night looking for something and was caught by Klein? He froze when Klein pointed the gun at him? Yeah, I remember that, Dr. Z. What about him? As if he knew a gun was being pointed? Interesting. Oh, could that guy be a clown? Maybe? Because he had such a good... Oh, because he had like intuition of what the guy was going to do next, maybe? Nice. Yes. So this can be considered the manifestation. The path, but it's not enough. This pathway must be one that gives unique abilities every time I advance before reaching a high sequence beyonder. But the intuitions I get are fleeting, so I don't think I can take advantage of them every time. Of course, this ability is powerful enough as it is. Taking advantage of it should be enough to turn defeat into victory. Oh, right. After I reduce the influence of the negative effects that come with the clown potion, I can try the ritual to summon myself. I nearly forgot about that. Yeah. The captain must have infected me with his awful memory. In the midst of his thought, Klein observed himself once again. He wanted to know if the clown potion had brought along any other abilities. According to the confidential records of the Nighthawks, if the potion allowed the person who consumed it to gain mastery over a certain spell. No, it said a couple of spells, no? Where's my notes? Sequence 8, Beyonder said to be good at fighting with artifice. No, Sequence 7, able to cast spells in quick succession. It didn't say anything about spells yet, did it? Could the meaning of crafty be that I can now effectively use my expressions and body language to more easily fool people with my lies? Dude, best thing for a scammer, holy shit. That's what I thought too, Amnesia, because I feel like even if he didn't give a warning, even if he just cocked the hammer or the gun, the guy would hear that and go, okay, never mind. But maybe Dr. Z's right. I don't know. I don't remember. At this moment, he couldn't help but think back to the suited clown he had previously encountered. The clown's peculiar and varied spells had left a deep impression. Oh, yes. That member of the Secret Order is a Sequence 7 Beyonder. His clown getup was purely to mask his facial expressions. Oh, he was Sequence 7. To avoid being placed on the wanted list. It's no wonder that he could hold his own against Sequence 7. Against two Sequence 7s and a Sequence 8. If he deciphered the fact that I wasn't under the influence of 249 and avoided falling under its control, 10 of me might not have been enough to deal with him. Of course, Clown is not completely devoid of spells. There are still spells like this. Klein walked towards the long table and picked up the piece of paper and the clown formula that it was written on. His pupils darkened, and with a flick of his wrist, he tossed the paper into the air. It was as if the soft piece of paper became a dagger and pierced itself into the wall. I've seen I've seen people throw like playing cards that cut into an apple, not a fucking brick wall, bro. That's crazy. I can bring a deck of tarot cards with me in the future. They can be used for divination or as weapons. Klein collected himself and started to pack up his objects and left behind the potion's concoction. After dealing with this and burning the formula for the potion, Klein exhaled and left the alchemy room, closing the secret door behind him. For the time being, he didn't feel like trying to entertain others through a ridiculous method. Because of what happened to Old Neil, he intended to lessen the influence of the potion through cogitation first. Yeah, no, I figured that, Milosh, but that's cool as shit. This is going to be a brand new experience again. No matter what happens, I'm no longer just a supporting member. Yes, ever since Old Neil passed away, I'm the only member left in the Nighthawks that can provide support. The Holy Cathedral will likely send a mystery prior or a seer to the team. Klein followed the wall lamps walking down the dark corridor, calmly made his way up the stairs to the security company. He then saw the sunlight in the recreation room. The sunlight shone through the oriel window sunlight, which was pure and warm. Can you tell all the abilities the clown potion gave? So, I would assume it obviously gave him like a lot more coordination, more strength, more it makes him good at fighting with artifice, or fighting with deception rather, sorry. And then other than that, I would assume like what he just did now, like he can throw shit, perfect muscle control, balance, yeah. And then you can like throw shit really well, I guess. I don't fucking know. Like turn cards into like deadly weapons. So like if he's carrying a fucking deck of cards with him, he might as well have a gun. He's just there, he's like yeah, I don't know. Am I missing something else? And then he should, like he said, he might be able to learn a couple of spells. Maybe a singular spell. I don't know. Oh, yes, premonition also. Yes, thank you. Oh, this is another long chapter. Oh, this is a really long chapter. Fuck me. Okay. Okay, give me 2 minutes. I'm just going to play Nerdle. I need to rest my voice a little bit, and then we'll go. He turned from support to high fighter. This is also true. Yes, premonition, yep. 52. I don't know why I would do that. 27 plus... If I do 80, then that doesn't work. What if I do 26 again? And then try... Is that 53? So it's a repeat character. So 5 doesn't work, 7 doesn't work, so 26 plus 86 doesn't work because that gets me over 100. What if it's 28 plus 66? 74, 94? Wait, there's no 4. Or sorry, there's no 9 and 4. That can't, none of that can be shit. So it can't be 2. So is it just 26 plus, there's no 2, there's no 6. Dude, how does that, because the only letter that's the only number that's available is 86, but then that's, the plus isn't in that space. How am I this stupid? How am I this fucking stupid, bro? Oh, I lost because I can't tell, because I thought that was, oh, I'm so stupid. Oh, God. No, we messed up, boys. We messed up. 8 times 2 equals... Nope. Times 2. 16, 18. 2 times 8 plus 6 equals 1622. If it's not this, I get it. Okay, it was close, but we made it. Okay. Okay. Let's do 170 and then get this done, okay? Okay. Copper whistle. What does this even mean? Klein turned towards the captain's office and saw that the door was wide open. Dunn was leaning back in his chair, sniffing at his pipe. When Dunn swept his eyes at him, he changed his seating posture. You seem to be in good shape. Nothing like someone who just consumed a potion. That might be the advantage of fully digesting a potion before leveling up. Leveling up? Klein closed the door and took a seat. He and Dunn both knew about their acting method, so their oath didn't keep them from talking about the acting method with each other. They could exchange their thoughts, but the two of them didn't bring it up with a tacit understanding. They fell silent at the same time after the exchange. Has His Grace left? Yes. As a high-ranking deacon, he has other matters to take care of. Oh, he took the pair of eyeballs that remained after Old Neil died. Why? Dunn picked up his coffee and took a sip. We shouldn't lie to ourselves. Our rampager is already in fact a monster, and as I told you, monsters leave behind things that are rich with beyonder powers after they die. When these relics can't be controlled, they have to be sealed. Yes, That is one of the most common origins of sealed artifacts. Whoa, they're all... Jesus Christ, they're from Beyonders? According to the Nighthawk's internal rules, the items left behind by rampagers need to be stored somewhere so they won't trigger their partners. A logical rule. Suddenly, he noticed that the captain had missed something. What if the item left behind is controllable? You wouldn't want to know the answer. Klein was taken aback before he suddenly realized the possibility. A normal monster left behind by Beyonder ingredients, which could be used to make potions. But what if a rampager who turned into a monster? If they left behind controllable things, wouldn't those be used as Beyonder ingredients? Upon realizing that, he felt a strong sense of disgust. He couldn't help but turn his head to retch. Even his sight grew blurry. What a terrifying theory. But it's an answer that's highly likely of being close to the truth. In that instant, he understood sayings like, to fight against the abyss, we must endure the corruption of the abyss. We are guardians, but we are also a bunch of miserable wretches that are constantly fighting against threats and madness. Cannibalism it is. Would this be one of the reasons why the church hides the acting method, so they can recycle a certain number of their own members for spare parts? Jesus, I hope not. But that would make members of the higher echelons reject the church. Upon seeing his response, Dunn laughed. There was a twinkling light in his eyes. Think about it on the brighter side of things. You can think about it as our teammates watching over us in a different form. They will be with us forever. After saying that, Dunn lowered his head, picked up his coffee, and brought it to his mouth. And you don't have to worry. As long as we can find the source of Beyonder ingredients, we won't need to do what you're thinking about. That's good. Alright, according to the rules, you receive a day off since you just advanced. You can decide whether or not you want to go to your combat training this afternoon, but you'll have to inform Gawain either way. Klein gently nodded. Taking a deep breath, he straightened his back and said, Captain, I finished my lessons of mysticism. I would like to use my mourning to learn techniques such as tracking and monitoring. I'd like to fulfill my full duties as a Nighthawk soon. You're tougher than I imagined. As you wish. Yes, Captain. Klein suddenly stood up and drew a crimson moon on his chest. After leaving the security company, Klein didn't return home, but instead took the opportunity to take a trackless carriage to Azek's place. As the doorbell clearly rang, Azek opened the door in a white shirt and black vest. There's a gold watch chain hanging from his vest pocket. Don't you need to work? Azek took a glance at the sky and realized that the sun had yet to climb to its peak. I actually have most of the day off due to some circumstances. Azek looked at him and appeared to notice something as he made way for Klein's entry. Well, it's Azek's art time. This weekend is Sri Lankan New Year. Oh, that's awesome, Romero. You have any plans? At the hallway, Klein set his cane aside, took off his hat, and followed Azek to the living room. The living room was comfortably furnished with a fireplace, rocking chair, couches, and a coffee table. Klein sat at his usual spot. Azek sat opposite to Klein and pointed at the cigar on the table. Do you want one? No, Klein shook his head. Azek didn't attempt to persuade him as he struck a match and lit a cigar. At the same time, he casually asked, Have you taken care of the matter at Morristown? I have to thank you for that, Klein replied sincerely. I have a shit ton of fireworks, and nice. At the same time, he secretly lampooned, Mr. Azek, because you lost your memories, you definitely must have left behind quite a sizable wealth for yourself. Otherwise, how could a teacher who isn't even an associate professor be able to enjoy cigars so frequently? Mr. Azek was fiddling with his cigar. Interesting. Klein brought up the matter. Mr. Azek, I have something to ask you. What is it? Azek replied. One of my colleagues lost control and became a monster. I'd like to know if his spirit was contaminated. He wasn't certain if Azek knew the meaning of losing control, so he prepared an explanation just in case. Azek stopped what he was doing, nodded heavily, and said, No doubt, you have to be very careful in a situation like that. If he lost control due to temptation of an evil god or devil, try to avoid contacting his spirit. It might very likely lead to life-threatening danger. That's awesome. Yeah. Enjoy the New Year's tomorrow. So I won't be streaming on the weekend anyway, so I hope you. So yeah. Oh yeah. I guess I won't have a chance to wish you the day off. So yeah, happy early New Year's. In that case, I mean, I'll see you tomorrow and Friday, but still. I understand. Klein let out a breath of disappointment. When he was at Old Neil's place, he was too emotional and had forgotten to contact Old Neil's spirit. Neither did Dunn or Smith remind him at all. Hence, he missed the opportunity entirely. Now that I think of it, Captain didn't forget, but intentionally avoided bringing it up. He didn't dwell on the topic, but instead mentioned the previous encounter. Mr. Isaac, I tried to divine the origins of Morristown's paranormal incidents. Instead, I ended up seeing the upside-down pyramids that extended underground. My teammate told me it's a symbol of death. Only his descendants would receive such an honor. Isaac put down the match and took up the cigar cutter when he fell into a daze. He was quite motionless for a while. He leaned back into his seat and wore an unusually gloomy expression. This gives a familiar feeling, but I don't recall anything. Devil, I'm still a hater, but I hate the country, not him, so difference. We have some class, okay? We may be haters, but we're not classless. I'm very sorry, Klein sighed sincerely. He had imagined that he could use the revelation obtained from the divination to further jolt Isaac's memories. Isaac cut the cigar cap off, shook his head, and smiled bitterly. If it was something that could be recalled easily, I think I would have long found a way to escape my fate. Oh, I see. Sorry. I thought you meant us. I apologize. That's much better. Yes. Of course, I have to thank you for your kindness. Thank you for remembering about me this entire time. He thought for a moment before adding, I'll be leaving Tingen in the near future. Why? Klein asked in surprise. Didn't we say that you were going to find the manipulator behind the scene, the person who affected my fate and stole your child's skull? Isaac held his cigar before before explaining. The target might have noticed my attention and investigation. He hasn't been taking any action recently, leaving me with no clues. Thus, I'm thinking of leaving Tingen for the time being and going back to Backland. On one hand, I can take the opportunity to search for traces that I left behind before I lost my memories. On the other, my absence might have the target lower his guard. No, I referred to you and me as us, Devil. That's right. Mr. Isaac's last memory was around Backland University. It's a pity that you can't take my place, searching for the Red Chimney House. I'll pay close attention to this. Once the target takes action and exposes himself, I'll inform you immediately. Mr. Isaac, how will I inform you in a timely manner? Klein had the idea that if Isaac was Death's descendant, or if he was linked directly to Death in a certain way, his powers might have been similar to a corpse collector sequence. He definitely had a way to call something like Daly's messenger. In other words, this could confirm Isaac was actually related to Death or a descendant of Death. Isaac took a puff of his cigar and thought for nearly 20 seconds, then took out an ornament from his left sleeve. It was intricate but old copper whistle. There were many unique patterns that filled it with a mysterious aura. This is something that I had with me when I woke up in Backland. When you blow it, you'll summon a messenger that belongs to me. Isaac held the copper whistle as he explained in detail. That's cool. I was about to recommend some what is... I don't know what that is, Devil. Sorry, give me a second. Type of antipsychotic. Oh, yeah, no, I'm good. No bipolar here. Or is there? After so many years, this copper whistle can still be used. This has to be a magical item, right? Klein was surprised and delighted that he indirectly proved Mr. Isaac was related to Death. Isaac gave Klein a glance. He then put the copper whistle to his mouth and demonstrated. His cheeks puffed as he blew with all his might. Nothing was heard, but Klein suddenly felt gloomy and cold. He quickly tapped his left molar and saw there was a blurry white bones being thrown up from the ground one after another, forming a strange mountain. Okay, yeah, so he has to be the corpse collector sequence, because Madame Daly did damn near the same thing, no? After a few seconds, there was an illusory monster in the living room. Its body was made of white bones, and there was a dark flame glowing in its eye socket. It's almost 4 meters tall, and it towered over Klein, who wasn't even 175 centimeters tall. As he watched its head nearly tear through the ceiling, Klein suddenly had a thought. Mr. Azek, isn't your messenger a little too exaggerated? Azek didn't share those thoughts at all. He smiled and said, after he passed the letter to it, blow the whistle again to end the summoning. Then it'll send the letter to me very quickly in a secretive manner. After that, Azek shook his wrist and threw the old copper whistle across the room. Extended his right hand, accurately caught it. He found it cold but mild. Thank you, Clown Potion. He breathed a sigh of relief. He wiped his whistle and blew it hard. Silently, the messenger fell apart as blurry white bones sank into the ground. The Tussock River ran through backland and harbors that dotted the area around the area. What does that mean? Alger Wilson wore a long priest robe of the Church of the Lord of Storm as he walked from the passenger ship slowly. He saw people walking to and from the harbor with countless port workers sweating under the sun. It was bustling yet noisy scene. It's been a while, Backland, Alger muttered to himself. Look at that. So there's a chance Alger might actually meet Audrey in person. All right. Oh, fuck. Shit. Sorry, I just got a notification that Trump paused tariffs on most nations. Fuck. For 90 days. Fuck. Okay, whatever. It's fine. Artwork. Yes, Milos. Casimir. Look at him. Oh, he looks like a dope motherfucker. Wow, you look creepy as fuck here, dude. You look dope here. You look creepy as fuck. That looks more like what I'd imagine he looks like. So elegant, so put together, so coherent. Very cool. Seer. Clown. Yay. Look at that. That looks very cool. I'm actually going to save this one. Sorry. Give me a second. Yeah, sure. That's fine. Dope. Who is this? Azek? Oh, more Azek art. I see. Doing as you wish, my liege. That's very nice. Look at that. Man, there's so much Azek art. What the fuck? Damn, they're stylish. Wait, hold on. Hold on. Is this the right one? No. Where is it? Fuck, where is it? Yeah. Here it is. Okay. So this is not the best one, but this I'll do. Okay. Get fucking mogged. Like, okay, damn, bro. What are you hassling me for? What the fuck is what is this? Oh, Azek giving Klein the copper whistle, I guess. Ah, dope. Okay, very good. Look at that. How long was the stream today? Okay, almost 3 hours on the dot. Okay, dope. All right. Okay, I have 30 minutes left to do my dailies. All right, well, get to it, Romero. All right. Once again, as always, thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Hope you had a great stream, and hope you have a great rest of your day. And hopefully you can join for the again late night short stream. Short, like 4 chapters, which should be like an hour and a half. Probably gonna end up, which should be like an hour, but will probably end up being like 2 because we talk about so much shit. Yes. Thank you so much. Hope you have a great rest of your day or night, and I hope to see you again later. Bye, guys.